Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter podcast, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorda, and I'm here with my co-host, Ringside Robert, and England's adopted son, Joe Beeb. And we have a great show for you today. And if you want to call in and ask any questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857. And we'll be here till about 9 o'clock tonight. And today, we are going to talk about Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia. It's just about a done deal, guys. I can't wait, and we'll give you all the details. Beeb, our train wreck of the week this week is why we have the train wreck of the week. All right. I don't even know what to say about this, and we said a lot about it already, but there's more, Beeb. There's more.
Keeps getting better and better, doesn't it?
Better and better, man. But first, we get started with Beeb, DAZN, Oleksandr Usyk versus Tony Bellew for the Undisputed Cruiserweight Championship. Usyk scores an 8th round KO over Tony Bellew. I don't think it was a shock that Usyk won. It was the way he won.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, the fight started off slow for both guys, real chess match. But Bellew definitely was more effective in the first 2 rounds. He was able to counter. And to me, he just landed more of the effective shots, you know. Usyk picked up the pace in the 3rd round, but the rounds were still very close. Both fighters landed hard shots at times during the fight, and in the 8th round, Usyk pressed the action and caught Bellew against the ropes, where he landed a solid right jab followed by a crushing left hook to the chin. Bellew didn't see it coming. It was just a quick 1-2. Boom, man. Bellew was laid out cold, and Oleksandr Usyk retains his undisputed Cruiserweight Championship. I had the fight scored 5-2 for Usyk at the time of the KO, but two of the 3 judges had Bellew ahead at the time, and the other judge, Beeb, said had it a draw. Is that correct?
He had it even. Yeah, he must have scored it. Yeah, must have had an even round slipped in there.
Yeah. So talk about what you saw in the fight.
Well, I thought Bellew did very well in the beginning of this fight. First 3 rounds, you know, Usyk seemed tentative, but maybe he wasn't tentative because he was just kind of parring with that jab. And what I was getting the sense of is he was probing and probing and probing and just taking his time, trying to collect that data, looking for some mannerisms, look at some habits that he's picking up on that Tony Bellew's doing. And he noticed, what I found that he noticed is Bellew was kind of laying back a little bit. He's trying to suck him into that right hand. So the first couple rounds, I thought that Usyk was backing Bellew up, but Bellew was landing some good counter right leads, you know, because he's getting a good rhythm for the jab. But after that 3rd round, Usyk started changing things up a little bit. He was still parring with the jab a little bit, but then he'd mix in a hard one in there every now and then. And then every now and then he'd hook off it. And then he would just kind of get Bellew to react to it. And he was almost directing Bellew around the ring. He was like a conductor with that jab, with the way he was able to get Bellew to move where he wanted him to move. And he started getting him to walk into the left hand. He started getting Bellew, you know, occupied with that jab. And, you know, he would throw the jab part, but then Usyk would step to his right a little bit, and then Bellew would make that mistake to try to get out of the way. He was going to his right, and boom, he was walking into that loop-in left hand. And that hand, it had just a little bit enough of a loop on it where Bellew really couldn't see it coming. A lot of times, you know, you'll see that punch sometimes when it's coming out straight, you can gauge the shoulder. But when the guy got you leaning on one side and you're on the move, okay, and then the punch is coming from your blind spot as you're moving, it's really hard to prepare yourself for that. I thought that Usyk won the 4th and 5th, and I thought Bellew came back a little bit in the 6th. But the 7th round is where I saw the turning point. That was the round where I saw, Bellew starting to react to those left hands in a not so favorable way. His eyes were getting kind of puffed up, but you could see his knees and his legs, and the body language was changing. And as he went back to the corner after that 7th round, he had a look on his face like, oh, shit, these punches are actually starting to hurt me now. What am I going to do if I can't take this guy's power? And he did mention after the fight that he got tired, but I thought that because of the quality of punches that was being landed on him, particularly that short looping left hand around the guard, I thought he was getting hurt, and that was sapping the energy and the motivation out of him. But credit to him, he went on in his shield. I actually had him up because I gave him the first 3, and I actually gave him the 6th. And I thought that he made a beautiful account of himself. I had him up by a point at the point of the stoppage. But you could definitely see that 7th round was definitely a game changer. And it was the turning point. And it was only a matter of time, in my opinion, after that 7th round. That was the sense that I got. I did not expect this fight to end in a stoppage. I thought Usyk would probably win like 9-3, possibly maybe 8-4 tops. But Usyk has that sneaky power. People say that, he's a slow starter, he's not a big puncher, but he's got a 75% knockout ratio. He's got quite a few knockouts for the amount of fights that he has. He's scored a lot of knockouts. He's got that sneaky power. He moves a lot, but when he's moving, he's forcing you to have to reset too. And before you can reset, that's when he's landing those power shots, those sneaky shots that you're not able to prepare for because you're on defense, but you're not really where you want to be in there because you're moving, but you're in transition. So he's hitting these guys while they're in transition, and when their feet aren't set, and when they're not really in a strong defensive posture, and he's hurting these guys because of that. So Usyk is a very skilled fighter, as everyone knows, but the thing is he can change the look on the turn of a dime, and his opponents just aren't able to react accordingly to it. And that's what happened here. I think that he started off a little slow, then he started stepping on the gas, then he started putting a little bit of mustard on those shots, and Bellew was already accustomed to the slower, more comfortable pace of from the beginning of the fight, and he wasn't able to deal with the plan B when Usyk decided to shift gears and go into 2nd and 3rd gear. Bellew was basically stuck in 1st at that point, and he couldn't deal with it. But it was a great fight. It was a really enjoyable fight. And that's the thing, going in, a lot of people predicted it would be one-sided. So you got a pleasant surprise because it wasn't one-sided. And you can say anything you want about the DAZN and the quality of these fights. And, it doesn't matter what's written on paper. It doesn't matter what the thought is going in. What really matters is the finished product. And a lot of these finished products from these DAZN fights have been highly entertaining. And they've exceeded expectations, at least in my opinion. And this was another example of that on Saturday night.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I love DAZN. I love the app, man. I mean, we've had boxing every week for weeks now, and good fights. I mean, good matchups, everything like that. The World Boxing Super. I told you beforehand, I was going to buy it for the World Boxing Super Series alone.
You did.
But I mean, you get this on there. Anthony Joshua's going to fight on there. I mean, it was just in the undercard on this was good too. We had a really good undercard on this, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But yeah, I mean, the app has been great, man.
Let me ask you a question too, because of the World Boxing Super Series, right? Because it is like this bantamweight tournament, for instance. Have you ever been this excited for bantamweights? I mean, the lineup of bantamweights that they put together. I'm stoked.
Insane.
You know, I'm stoked.
You
really.
know what? You know what? This is what Superfly really should have been.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
you
I know
said that before, and I agree with you
above.
wholeheartedly. Yeah, you said that before.
Yeah, I know they're a weight class above that, but this is really what Superfly should have been.
Absolutely.
You know, and putting it together because Loeffler had all the guys and all the makings. Obviously, he couldn't put on like a this type of tournament or whatever, but he had all the makings to put on like these great cards. That first Superfly was awesome, and then it just kind of died or whatever. But this is really what it should have been.
Absolutely.
If the World Boxing Super Series got involved, that's what it would be. It would be, a really cool thing. But yeah, that's, I mean, when was the last time, like you said, man, when was the last time you've been excited about 118? You know what I mean? I mean, that's it. I mean, it's just done. It does wonders for those divisions. It really does.
And I'm going to say something else because I'm going to be showing my age, but a lot of times when these fights are on at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, the Beeb is like, he's freaking fighting to stay awake. And half the time he falls asleep.
Terrible. I hate, I'm the same way.
and the beauty of this is I made a statement about the DAZN that was possibly could have been construed as a criticism, like who's going to watch these fights at 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon? Well, the Beeb is, and he's going to be awake when he's doing it, baby.
Right, we're wide awake watching those fights.
Yeah, I'm wide awake, man. The caffeine
all of
is
us
still
live on the West Coast like Robert, so I mean, we don't get to watch the fights at 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
The caffeine is still buzzing, at that time of the day. But
that's right.
Beeb's like freaking falling asleep at 11 o'clock sometimes,
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean,
old man. I'm an old man.
I tell you what, man. Yeah, those cards, like the UFC cards, is what gets me because they start at 10 and they go till like 1 o'clock.
Yeah, man.
And by the last bout, you're excited and you're just fighting to stay awake.
I'm sitting there slapping myself in the face to stay up to watch the fucking guy. It's so aggravated, man.
All right, so let's talk about Usyk. The logical move now for Usyk would be for him to go to heavyweight. Number one, is that the logical move? Number two, is he big enough?
I'm not so sure, man, because the problem with the division now is everyone's 6'5", 6'6", and then you got guys like Dillian White, who's like 6'4". What's Derek Chisora? He's about 6'3", I guess.
You have Fury at 6'9".
6'9". So
yeah,
it's hard. It's really hard for me to envision Usyk beating Anthony Joshua, because at some point, like, let's use Bellew for an example. Bellew's not really slow, but he's not the quickest guy in the world, right?
Right.
And he was able to land some right hands, right?
He landed very clean shots.
Yeah, so you have to
landed very clean counters on him. That was the other thing I was really impressed with.
Yeah.
Really clean stuff.
So you have to ask yourself, is it going to be impossible to hit Usyk? I mean, Usyk moves, but sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he takes risks. He's not impenetrable. He's not impenetrable. He's not. His weapon is his legs, but there's going to be a time where he can't move. There's going to be a time when he's going to have to take a break. There's going to have to be a time where he's going to have to reset. And at those moments when he's resetting and he's not moving and he gets touched, like he was a few times in this fight, I'm not sold on the fact that he can withstand Anthony Joshua's punching power. I mean, look what Anthony Joshua did to Povetkin.
Can he hurt Anthony Joshua? Can he hurt as big as like Big Baby Miller or something like that, or who I don't think is a great boxer?
So.
And Sugar Ray Leonard said it best. He said, you can only move for so long in a fight, and then at some point you're going to have to stand your ground. Will he be able to stand his ground against an Anthony Joshua? That's a huge, huge question. And even a Dillian White. Dillian White is he's a thick heavyweight. He's a big, strong heavyweight. So, if he fights a guy like Dillian White, who just is a dogged, determined guy, a guy who doesn't slow down, you have to incapacitate that guy to stop him. He's not going to stop. You have to incapacitate him. And if you don't incapacitate him, there's a good chance that he's going to incapacitate you.
Right.
So I don't know, man. It's a big ask.
I mean, does he hit hard enough? I think my thing is, does he hit hard enough to make his way into the heavyweight division? You know, he can beat some guys in the heavyweight. No question about that. Can he beat the upper echelon guys? I don't know. Corey Lee thinks so. And thank you, by the way, Corey. Corey's in the chat and just donated. So that's great, man. Thank you so much.
Mr. Corey Lee.
I just don't see. I mean, Usyk is a talented fighter, but I just don't see him making a significant enough headway in the heavyweight division, because I don't see him beating Anthony Joshua. I don't see him beating a Deontay Wilder. Even Tyson Fury would give him fits, because Fury is 6'9" and has long arms, and he moves as well as Usyk does. When you talk about the upper echelon guys, I really don't know if he could do anything. Same with Bellew. Because Bellew was talking about moving up to heavyweight at one point. I don't know if Bellew could move up either. Because of the same thing. I really don't know if either one of these guys could make the jump. Cruiserweight just might be their ceilings.
Yeah.
So, Notorious VC asked a question in the chat. He goes, "You don't think Usyk can tire up the top tier heavyweights like he did with Bellew?" Well, I think Bellew was, like I said earlier in my breakdown, I think Bellew was hurt, and that's why he started getting tired, because he was getting hit with some good shots, and I think the wind was taken out of his sails because of the shots he was having to endure. So I don't think he was just tired because he was fighting at a torrid pace. I think he was getting hurt. So, like Joshua, I mean, if he's not getting hurt, will Usyk be able to slow him down? That's the question.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a good point. I mean, will he tire them out? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because, look, man, I mean, those are big bodies on you too.
Yeah.
So, like, when they press you and they get, they tie you up and they put their body on you and their weight on you, that's a different animal. I'd like to see it. I mean, I'd like to see him, but they were talking about putting him, they're in such a rush. They seem to really want him to fight Anthony Joshua, partially because Joshua has absolutely no big names to fight. He's going to fight Dillian White or whatever in March or whenever they're going to fight again. For what?
April 13th, that's his next date at Wembley.
Whatever it is. Yeah. I mean, and he's going to fill up the arena, I'm sure, but he has nobody left. I mean, he really doesn't. I mean, you don't think he'd rather fight Usyk than Dillian White? Of course he would, because Usyk's a bigger, it might be a bigger fight for him, but
you think so?
They've got to get that Wilder fight done, man.
Do you think it would be a bigger fight?
Usyk?
Well, you may be right to a degree, because Usyk was just involved in a big pay-per-view with Tony Bellew.
Yeah.
So do you think the UK fans would piggyback off of that and kind of get behind Usyk?
Because I think so.
Yeah, Usyk did himself. He did himself a lot of favors by winning the way he did. That was the perfect segue.
Yeah,
for him to transition into a Joshua fight.
It's a tough ask.
Yeah.
For for Usyk to be a bigger draw than Dillian White, because they're both two English guys and going at it in England. That's a tough one, man.
Yeah.
But as far as the rest of the world goes, I mean, I think they'd much rather see that fight than
the intrigue factor is probably greater with the Usyk fight, because we already know what happens with a Dillian White fight. It's do or die with Dillian White. It's kill or be killed.
Right.
Yeah, and they've already fought once.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. They fought in a kill or be killed type fight. The thing about it is Usyk's not going to, or he's not going to try to engage in a kill or be killed type fight with Joshua. I think everyone knows that. So the intrigue is this is going to be a cat and mouse game. This is going to be a bull versus the matador, where before you had two bulls going at it, and one bull, apparently is bigger and stronger and quicker and hits harder than the other bull. So you know what the outcome of that's going to be. But it's always kind of intriguing to see when it's a bull and a matador. Can the matador olay the bull?
Well, this is going to sound ridiculous.
Nothing you say is ridiculous, Robbie.
Big time. What happens when he beats Tyson Fury? I mean, Dominic Brazil's not going to bring you anything.
What do you mean? What happens if he beats? You don't know he's going to beat Tyson, the Truth Fury, yet.
He's not beating Tyson Fury, son.
Don't talk about that fight like it's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah,
you know, I'm going to say something right now, Robbie.
I'm talking about the possibilities, Beeb. What happens, you know, if he beats?
You said when, Robbie. That doesn't indicate that you said that you were trying to say possibility. You said when.
I'm trying to look ahead, guys. Come on.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. I mean, you get me a little bit amped up here when you mentioned Tyson Fury's name. I love Tyson Fury.
One of the guys in the chat just said Robbie talks through a phonograph. Oh, how dare you? How dare you?
Because the Beeb's got one of these high-powered mics, man. From Beeb.
You make us all sound bad, Beeb.
This is a Beeb Industries special right here. This Beeb Industries right on top of it, right there.
Go ahead, Robert.
Go ahead, Robert. I'm sorry.
But no, I'm just trying to look ahead. You know, say you know, because it's not a given that Wilder will beat Fury, but say he wins, or say Fury wins, who do they fight next? I mean, because Joshua can't stay in England and fight the Usyks and the Whites and the Zoras and that forever. Don't they eventually have to unify titles here?
No, they don't. I mean, and if you're wondering, yeah, he can stay in England as long as he's selling out Wembley. Let's use something. I mean, really, think about it. What am I going to go to Vegas and fight? No.
Let's look at the history of UK boxing. Think about it. Frank Bruno. Yep. No matter if he won or lost, no matter who he fought, they loved him. He still packed stadiums. Oh, Ricky Hatton, same thing. Like these UK fans, us UK fans, we are the most loyal fans in the world. We're not like people. We're not like people in New York and Boston. A fighter loses or a team loses, they want to freaking throw him to the wolves. They want to put him in the trash compactor. The UK does not act like that. They pick up their fighters, they dust them off, and they put them back in the ring. And they're like, "There's only one Ricky Hatton. There's only one Tyson Fury."
Who's Ricky Hatton? Who's Ricky Hatton?
The Boston accent, baby. Come on, cut me some slack with the Boston accent. All right?
You get another Wahlburgers and cry over your Patriots today.
Beantown, Daddy. This is Beantown. Well, we put a little bit of emphasis on ins and ers and ahs and you know how it is.
Yeah, I know.
Please.
Yeah. Tommy, it looks like or maybe Tony C in the chat just said that Usyk can fight Joseph Parker, and that would be a good test. I agree with it. I think that's a great fight. If he wants to move up,
if you want to see,
that's a good fight
for a bigger fight. That would be a good fight to
have. Look at Jason in the chat trying to stereotype people from Boston. He thinks everyone in Boston lives in the projects. Doesn't he realize like some of the great people, like Ellen Pompeo? She's from Boston. She went to my high school.
Isn't that Pompeo?
Pompeo. No, Pompeo or Pompeo. Tomato, however you want to pronounce it. Ellen Pompeo. Ellen Pompeo. We used to call her Pompeo. Maybe
used to call her Pompeo.
Maybe because she moved to LA now. She's a movie star. But she graduated with the Beeb. She went to Everett High with the Beeb. Donnie Wahlberg, Roxbury, New Edition. Cool it now. These are all famous people from Boston, and you want to stereotype Boston? That's a disgrace.
On the block.
New Kids on the Block. You know?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Bobby Brown, baby. Every little step I take.
He made a big
we have everyone there. Rocky Marciano. We have here. Look at the Red Sox, the Celtics. And
Marciano? Did you say Marciano, the most overrated champion in history?
Doesn't matter. He was from freaking Brockton.
Went there.
Marvin Hagler, another New Englander from Massachusetts. Another one. And
What's
you want to down.
Marciano was the only one to retire undefeated heavyweight champion.
What did he fight? He didn't fight nobody. He fought nobody. Fought nobody. Ali even beat him in that little gimmick fight they had.
Marvin Hagler, come on.
Sugar Ray beat him.
Massachusetts won for you.
Sugar Ray rolled right over him. Wasn't even close. And you know what? Hagler lost to Monroe Sr. How about that? Willie Monroe's uncle. Pulled a big upset. Nobody from Titletown loses, son. We don't ever hear that around.
Really? What about your boy Broner?
Bengals got killed.
Listen, man, first of all, about the Bengals, all right, you know what? It was a wide score, but let me tell you what, the refs screwed that game. I mean, listen, we can't control the refs.
Come on now, please.
We can't control the refs. I can't control what
please.
You know, I mean, they bring in hometown refs. What are you going to do? What am I going to do?
The NFL has outstanding officials, okay?
Yes, they do.
There you go. Anywho.
All
right. Let's talk about the the undercard here. Anthony $1 Million Crawler versus Dodd Jordan. Crawler wins a unanimous decision by the scores of 116 to 112 on all three cards. This was, I mean, I tell you what, man, Jordan came in the fight, man, and Crawler kind of turned the tide on him. But man, I tell you what, I was watching this fight like, man, this might be, you know, I wasn't scoring it, but as I'm watching, I'm like, Jordan's doing a pretty good job in there. Beeb, what were your thoughts on this?
Well, it depends what you like. I mean, Jordan was coming forward, but I thought Crawler was landing the cleaner shots. I mean, Jordan was landing shots, but I just didn't think his shots were really clean and flush. And he was the aggressor, but I just think that he was getting hit with the much cleaner shots. Like Crawler is, once he gets going, and you know he puts the pressure on too. Once he starts moving his hands, he's like a beauty in there with combinations. This guy just is a very fluid combination puncher. And you had a guy, Jordan, coming forward, kind of, hate to use the old terminology that a guy that I don't really like, Teddy Atlas, with all due respect. All due respect, Jordan was kind of like that caveman in there, stalking, coming forward, where you had Crawler, who was moving his hands real sharp and quick. He was landing the more crisper combinations, in my opinion. And once he's allowed to move his hands, like the thing was when he fought Linares countered him every time. Like Linares would start the combination and finish the combination. You know, in this fight, because he was so much quicker than Jordan, and he was just a little bit sharper with his punches, I think that he had the better, cleaner, more quality type work in this fight. But Jordan definitely did come to fight. He definitely did apply the pressure. But I just didn't think he threw enough punches.
Well, you bring up an interesting point, Beeb, about Teddy Atlas. I mean, if Teddy Atlas was in Jordan's corner, I think it's a whitewash. I really
would have got stopped.
Probably
would have got stopped.
Crawler got stopped. Crawler would have got stopped. I agree.
No,
because Teddy Atlas is that good. Stopped him over in England, and he could have had an entirely different career. His career trajectory would have taken off with Teddy Atlas.
Oh, no.
Think about that for a minute. All right. Let's talk about Josh Kelly versus Walter Castillo. Let me tell you what, man. This was Josh Kelly looks like the real deal. I don't know. He's 8-0. He looked like the real deal against Castillo. He knocked out Castillo in the first round, just demolished him, man.
Eric?
Yes.
I hate to do this, but I'm going to quote Teddy Atlas one more time.
Yes. Yes.
You never know if a kid is great unless he's forced with resistance. Unless he's met with resistance and forced to deal with resistance. That's when you never know a kid's great.
I agree. I agree with you.
He hasn't been dealing with that yet. So
Beeb,
we don't
dropping
know.
Teddy Atlas knowledge.
So I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm quoting Teddy Atlas twice.
Well, you know why you're quoting him twice. Because he's the man. He's the best out there. He's the best trainer around. Unreal.
It's amazing.
Say it.
It's amazing.
Say it. Teddy's the best. Say it.
Teddy's the best at pissing me off.
How dare you? And it says here, Josh Kelly's next fight will be against David Avanesian. David Avanesian.
Well, that'll be a good.
That's a good fight, right, Robert?
Yeah.
I love it, man.
That'd be a good test. Yeah.
I think it's a great fight because Avanesian's pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Let's talk about the Robert. This is the special integrated sports pay-per-view. Robert, this was on DirecTV. Did you pay for it?
I didn't stop and see how much it was, but yes, it was.
I think that's the best part is that you found it on DirecTV and you weren't even that interested in how much it cost because whatever the price was, you're not buying it.
That's right.
Yuriorkis Gamboa versus Miguel Beltran and Juan Manuel Lopez versus Christian Mino. You mean to tell me you wouldn't plug down your hard-earned dollar for these two fights?
No.
Well, I hate to say it, Robert, but you probably saved good money here. Both fighters won via decision. Gamboa and Lopez, that is, both star fighters won. Yeah, I mean, really, like, why would you put this on pay?
Yeah.
Integrated sports, baby. Get a free bowl of soup when you buy one of their pay-per-views. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say
Don
that.
King, heavyweight explosion.
Everyone needs to make a living.
Something like that. No big deal, but come on. Integrated sports pay-per-view, really?
I
don't
agree.
know. I don't know what to say on that one, Robbie.
All right. Let's talk about the DAZN World Boxing Super Series, the cruiserweights. Krzysztof Głodzki and Maxim Vlasov. For the WBO interim cruiserweight title, Głodzki knocked Vlasov down in the third round and then cruised to a unanimous decision win of 118-110, 117-110, and 115-112. Beeb, any thoughts on this?
Vlasov did his best, but he was just overmatched in this fight. The knockdown was kind of like a push down. It wasn't really a clean knockdown. But Głodzki is definitely he's a good fighter. And the thing was he used range very well in this fight. He was really doing well from the outside. And Vlasov tried to crowd him, but he just wasn't quick enough. He couldn't cut down the distance. And he was getting caught with a lot of left hands. Getting caught with a lot of straight lefts down the pike. May have won 2 rounds at best, but he just couldn't pin him down. That was the problem. And Głodzki, it's going to be between him and Briedis, and that's going to be an interesting one right there. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I would agree. Briedis didn't look too good to that last night. Briedis won a unanimous decision over Noel Mikhailian. By the scores of 116-110, 115-111, and 115-112. It was a very controversial decision. Right. What were your thoughts on this?
I thought Briedis actually lost that fight. I had him losing 7-5. I really did. I thought that neither guy was really busy in the first 3 rounds, but at least he was coming forward. But I gave McClellan like rounds 4 through 10. And I gave Briedis the last 2 rounds. So I gave him like the first 3 and the last 2. So I thought he lost the fight 7-5. The thing was he didn't throw a lot of punches, and it seemed like he had a hard time dealing with the jab. He had a hard time dealing with the jab of McClellan. How do I pronounce this guy? Say his name again. McClellan. Is that how you pronounce it?
Noel Mikhailian.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I don't even know if I'm right. I don't even know if I'm
right. McClellan. Because the first time I ever saw this guy fight. But, Briedis was trying to get off. And every time he stepped forward, he was running into the jab. And then, the right hand was really was crisp too. He was really having a hard time getting off because I think McClellan was timing him coming in, and he was beating him to the punch. And even though Briedis was coming forward, I don't think his aggression was effective. And I think McClellan was definitely getting off. He was punching in between Briedis' shot because Briedis tends to open up a little bit with his shots, puts a little bit of a torque to them, a little bit of a loop. And McClellan was kind of timing that. He was seeing that. And he was just throwing the jab. And then he would like throw his right hand almost like a sidearm type punch, and he was punching right in between Gassiev's punches, and he was beating him to the punch because Gassiev was not Gassiev, Breedis Gassiev. Okay, yeah, I get. Well, how do you pronounce this guy's name now too? I'm getting his name, Marcus Breedis. I don't know why I don't know why I got
Maris Breidis.
Maris Breedis. I don't know why I came up with Gassiev. I freaking came
what
up with
is
his.
it with you in names tonight?
Yeah, I don't. I can't. I'm getting all these Russian guys mixed up. But anyways, he was punching inside of Breedis's combinations, and he was getting there first. And you know, I thought he was doing better work. I thought he was landing more shots. I thought he outworked Breedis, and you know, I just think that Breedis really didn't do enough to win this fight, and I was surprised he got the decision.
There you go.
What did I come up with Gassiev out of there?
I don't know,
because he fought both these guys. Breedis fought Gassiev in the old Super Six, correct? And then he beat Gassiev to fight Usyk, right? Is that how that went down in the old?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking of Gassiev.
Make me to remember something that happened like a couple of months ago.
Yeah. I'm just curious why I came up with Gassiev. That came out of left field. Sorry about that, guys.
You've been drinking all day. I don't know.
Drinking my Coke Zeros.
I got Coke Zero too. Is Coke Zero great or what?
I love Coke Zero.
Yeah. All right.
Celebrating the Red Sox.
Yeah. Right.
Sorry about that.
Contender finale on Epics. Brandon Adams, friend of the show, versus Shane Mosley Jr. And the friend of the show, Brandon Adams, won a unanimous decision over Shane Mosley Jr. 99-91, 190, and 190. Let me ask you guys, what was the bigger tournament, the Contender or Boxino?
Boxino.
You think so?
I like Boxino.
Well, since I got to see Boxino and I couldn't watch the Contender because we don't get Epics, I have to go for Boxino.
Yeah,
you know?
I might agree with you there.
Yeah.
All right. Over in Poland, Arthur Spilska versus Mariusz Wach. Arthur Spilska wins a split decision over Mariusz Wach. I heard it was a very close fight. Did not see it. Did not YouTube it. Wasn't all that interested. I got to be honest with you. So there you go. All right. Let's talk about the upcoming fights here. Let me get to that page. Yeah, I should have had this queued up. I'm so unprofessional here.
Okay.
That's all right.
All right. All right. Let's see what we got here, Robert. Robert, you're my savant. Let's see what we got. November 12th, tomorrow. I guess that'll be tonight. I guess we'll have the results tonight because it's in Tokyo. Tomoki Kameda versus Abigail Medina. That's a strange name for a dude. 12 rounds for the vacant.
Should be Funky Cole Medina with that kind of name.
There you go. For the vacant WBC interim junior featherweight title. November 16th. Robert, this is a Friday, no?
That's a Friday, yes.
On ESPN at Oklahoma City, Maurice Hooker versus Alex Saucedo, 12 rounds for Hooker's WBO junior welterweight title. Egidijus Kavaluskis versus Robert Azaria, Ariaza, 12 rounds, WBO welterweight title eliminator. Robert, your boy, Cletus Selden versus Nelson Lara on that undercard.
Okay.
Trey Lippy Morrison on that undercard versus the dreaded TBA, 6 rounds, heavyweights. On that same night, on Showtime, Jaron Ennis versus Raymond Serrano, 10 rounds, welterweights. Kenneth Sims Jr. versus Samuel Tea, 8 rounds, junior welterweights. And that must be a Showbox card.
Showbox, okay.
On ThompsonBoxing.com from Ontario, California, the same day, Michael Dutchover versus Dallas Prescott, 8 rounds, junior lightweights. And Pedro Moreno versus Eric Aguirre, 6 rounds, lightweights. Let's see what else we got here. Anything televised? Anything catches my eye?
I actually got some fights that I can watch this weekend. Cool.
There you go. How about that? Now, the 17th, Robert, is that a Saturday?
That's Saturday.
From Mulvane, Kansas on DAZN. What else? What else would it be on? Jarrell Big Baby Miller versus Bogdan Dinu, 12 rounds heavyweights. Beeb, your boy is back. Brandon Rios, Bam Bam versus Ramon Alvarez, 10 rounds, junior middleweights.
Wow.
Clarissa Shields versus Hannah Rankin, 10 rounds for Shields, IBF, and WBA, and the vacant WBC women's middleweight title.
Wow.
Robert, your boy is back. Gabe Rosado, Golden Gabe Rosado, versus Luis Arias, 10 rounds middleweights, and Nico Hernandez versus the dreaded TBA. This is a DAZN card, and I got to be honest, this card sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it at all.
I'm not looking forward to it either.
I might not even catch it.
The big intrigue is how much over 300 pounds will Big Baby step on the scales Friday?
Oh, stop it. Why are you fat shaming that guy? That's terrible.
He may be the next. He may be Joshua's next opponent.
Yeah, I think so. I think he will be. I think he will be.
Yeah,
I think he very much.
I think they're grooming him for Joshua.
Target practice for Joshua. My God.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That one
on BN Sports. On BN Sports, Robbie's favorite station in Espanol. They're friends of the show. From Mexicali, Mexico. Diego De La Hoya versus Edison Perez, 10 rounds. Are you seriously?
Wow. A blockbuster.
Boy,
really
shipped off his family member.
De La Hoya sucks, man. Dude, that's his family. What is he doing? I mean, he's never had that guy on a main card. Never. No. Didn't he open up a pay-per-view once? He was jerking the curtain on a pay-per-view. Wasn't that what he was doing?
He was. He was, baby.
I told you.
Boy, I wonder what Diego did to get himself in so much hot water that he can't get a decent fight on it.
I don't know, Robbie.
I could just picture his mom over there like, come on, Oscar, just put him on there. Just put him on there. He's good. You know.
It's a deal, Robbie.
Wow.
Well, I hope Diego wins. That's terrible.
That's awful, man.
Yeah.
That's awful. And he's a good fighter. I don't know why Oscar hates him. He's a good fighter. I think I'll try to get an interview with Oscar De La Hoya once he gets out of rehab, and then ask him, hey, like, dude, why do you hate your guy so much, man? Why you hate your nephew so much?
Isn't that crazy?
And he doesn't speak a lick of English either. He doesn't speak a lick of English.
Very good Uncle Oscar, that's for sure. Wow.
He doesn't speak any English at all, man. Because I was going to have him on the show one time, and they had to move the time or something like that. And they were like, do you have a translator? I'm like, what?
You can speak Spanish, can't you, Eric?
I can speak enough to, get beat up in Tijuana, but that's about it.
Okay.
My dad speaks Spanish, but I was like, he wasn't available at the time because I thought, Diego was like, like Oscar, diluted, and he could speak Spanish. He could speak English, but apparently not, man.
No,
he doesn't speak a lick of it. Yeah, so
Oscar thinks so much of his nephew, they didn't even teach him English.
That's cold, bro.
Robbie.
Robert, come on.
Please.
That's messed up, man. That's messed up. Jason in the chat just said Eric the fake Mexican can't speak Spanish.
Jason, be careful now, please.
Well, hey, if you're born in the United States, it's not required for you to speak Spanish.
That's very true. That's
How
very
many languages do you speak, Jason?
He can barely speak English. You heard him talk.
Yeah, he has trouble with that Georgia Southern draw of his.
Oh, poor Jason, man. Why you guys messing with him?
Baby.
All right, let's go to the news.
He's easy to mess with.
He's easy to mess with.
Yeah, he really is. He does it to himself.
He does. He does. All right, let's go to the train wreck of the week this week on News and Rumors. Elena.
Chugga, 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 choo choo.
Oh, I love it.
There you
Right.
Love it. Good job.
Enthusiasm. That's what it is, baby.
She does so good. So good. I can listen to her voice all day.
Well, you do. She lives in the house with you.
This is very true. This is very true. Train wreck of the week this week, Floyd Mayweather versus Tenshin Nasukawa. On and off now. So last Sunday, Floyd Mayweather announced he would be facing a Japanese fighter named Tenshin Nasukawa in a promotion called Rizin on December 31st. It's kind of like a Pride or UFC kind of thing.
Yeah.
Floyd posted pics on social media that showed him wearing the MMA gloves and even posted a hype video about the event. The press conference to announce the fight was a bit odd, man. When asked what the rules would be, they said they were working them out. When asked what the weight would be, again, they were working it out. Tension comes in about 125. So we reported it on Monday. We had a special show on it. And a day or so later, excuse me, Floyd posted on the social media that the fight was off, claiming that he had been misled and had no intention of fighting Nasukawa. And as far as announcing it at the presser, Mayweather said he didn't want to make any scene by saying this wasn't what he signed up for. He didn't want to make a scene, anything like that. So he just kind of went along with it. When have we known Mayweather not to cause a scene with anything? I saw the video of this dude.
He's notorious for causing.
Right. I saw the video of this dude he's fighting. He's no joke, man. And, I think he saw the video and said, no, thanks, man. This is not a good look for Floyd. Now, Rizin has put out a press conference yesterday and said that they are still negotiating with Mayweather. So, Beeb, what do you make of this?
I think it's just a publicity stunt, really. Bob Arum made a great point. He was saying that they probably paid to have him come over there. They possibly could have given him $1 million just to come over there and do the press conference. Probably flew him over there. Mayweather's saying to himself, you know what, I'll pick up this loose change, go on a nice little vacation, and, call it a day.
And then just look like a schmuck when he comes back?
Yeah, well,
I mean, he's got to know. I mean, you got to know you're going to look like a schmuck.
Do I believe what he said? Absolutely. No. Absolutely not. I mean, like this wasn't going to be an event. This was just going to be an exhibition for a select group of people. It wasn't going to be promoted at all. It wasn't going to be on any network or anything like that. But meanwhile, during the press conference, he said, this is for the fans. So he didn't say this is for a select group of rich people. He said, this is for the fans.
Right.
You pointed out he had the TMT banner on the back.
Yeah.
So people were like, oh, well, he had nothing to do with this, blah, blah, blah.
And he also put out that hype video. Did you see that on the social media, that hype video? I mean, it literally, as soon as it was announced, it went out on his social media.
Yeah. I mean,
his social media put it out.
No matter how you look at it, Mayweather got paid to do nothing, so he's winning in that area.
Did he, though?
Well, I'm guessing he got something out of it. I can't.
I mean, we don't know.
I can't confirm that.
You get paid to go over there and sign a contract?
I don't think he ever signed anything, but the thing about it is too is when you're sitting there and you're saying that the rules aren't agreed upon yet, they haven't been decided yet, and then information is released that they did have rules in place. So this thing is just a big mess. Do I believe what Mayweather said? Was Mayweather tricked? Absolutely not. I don't believe that, because Mayweather, he knows full well what he's getting himself into. He's been doing this for a long time. Okay. You're not going to fool him at this stage. Yeah. You're not going to fool him at this stage of the game, but it's just a bad look to come back and say, hey, I didn't know what was going on, because it's like you're insulting the intelligence of any logical person that you didn't know what was going on, because apparently you did know what was going on. It was the okie doke being played in full effect there. And do I know for a fact he got paid? I do not know that, but I suspect very strongly. Like he's not going to just go there for no reason. I'm sure they had to do something to get him to go over there. I'm sure he got something out of the deal. If at the very least, he got his name back in the headlines. He got a free vacation in Japan. And then he was saying that he didn't enjoy himself there. It was a very uneventful or unfortunate or disappointing. I think the word he used was disappointing trip. Didn't look disappointing to me. You were sitting there flossing in the hotels over there. You were kicking your feet up. You were having a beautiful time over there. You were smiling. You're all smiles. I don't know. So yeah, this was just a bad look for him. There's no way to put a happy face on it for him. But do I believe him? Absolutely not. He contradicted himself, and he's trying to walk this back, but you just really can't walk this back. I mean, there's too much evidence.
Do you think he punked out in this fight?
Do I think he punked out? I think that he I think he tried to play the Japanese people, the Japanese promoter over there. I think he tried to play. It looks like he punked out. Like, I mean, that's what it looks like. I mean, but do I think that he did punk out? I just think he was pulling the old okie doke. That's what I think. I think he was just trying to go over there, pick up some quick cash, have a good time, get some free publicity, give the other kids some free publicity. No harm, no foul. Let's go home. And my diehard fans, and we all know who his diehard fans are, they're gonna believe what I say anyways. And the guys that don't believe me, they didn't like they weren't really my my diehard blind loyalists. So I don't care what they think. So love, one way or the other, I got what I wanted. To some degree, this kid got what he wanted. He got some free publicity. And it is what it is. But it definitely makes him look bad at the end of the day, in my opinion, because the story that he come up with was total bullshit. To explain it and to defend himself, it's total bullshit.
Yeah, I mean it is. Robert, what is your take on this?
Well, my number one take on this is I'm glad it's not happening. Number one. Number two. What about Gervonta Davis and Badou Jack? I mean, Floyd is supposed to be their promoters. And Badou Jack just fought for the light heavyweight title and fought to a draw. And he deserves to be, Floyd should be negotiating him a rematch. And granted, I know him and Davis, they fight all the time and they have a rocky relationship. But you're doing a disservice to the people you represent under Mayweather Promotions. Give up this idea of being a fighter and start doing your damn job. We may not like what Oscar De La Hoya does with some of the publicity stunts he pulls, but you don't see Oscar, trying to get back in the ring constantly because he needs the attention on himself. At least he actually gets fights for his fighters. Floyd needs to give up the whole fighting routine and be a promoter or give up his damn promotion license, because I really feel bad for guys like Badou Jack and Gervonta Davis. I mean, Davis is a champion, if not a former one, and Badou Jack was a champion at 168, and he just fought for the light heavyweight title. And if I was his promoter, I'd be negotiating a rematch because that's what he deserves. Floyd needs to go into rehab for his so-called gambling and start on being a real man and promoting his fighters, or he needs to give up his damn license and let his fighters go to people that are actually going to put them to work.
Well, the problem with him is he's such an attention whore. He can't keep his name out of the headlines for like more than friggin' a month. He has to always do something to get his name in the headlines.
Well, then, if I'm a fighter, I don't sign with Floyd Mayweather.
Absolutely not.
Fight.
I would never sign with Mayweather Promotions if I was a fighter.
No, I wouldn't sign with him. I don't even know that I would sign with De La Hoya. Look how he's treating his nephew.
Yeah.
Well, hey, at least Eric Gomez actually makes sure that fights are made, okay?
Got a point.
Doesn't have anybody to do that.
People in the chat are saying they don't think it was just publicity.
Well, think about it. I mean, Reese Mack made a really good point. He says, do you really think he flew out there for publicity? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but let me ask you this.
Not only that, so they made all this stuff was just a sham. So they made the backdrop and everything, put his logo on it. He posted this stuff on social media, him with the gloves, and then he's going to come back and say, I didn't know what was going on.
No, I knew. I think it was all planned, is what I'm saying. I don't think that he didn't know what was going on. I think it was all planned on his part to screw these people over, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but
you think that he had no intention of ever taking the fight?
Yeah, I don't think he had any intention of ever taking the fight. I think he just went over there, to get a quick buck, to get his name back out there, to get people talking about it. It's just free advertisement. Give this kid a little bit of shine in the process. Yeah, I don't think he had any intention of going through with the fight ever. Do you actually think that he's gonna friggin' like let this kid kick him. He's gonna get in the ring. He's gonna get in the ring with someone, and he's gonna actually get in an MMA fight where there's gonna be kicking and grappling allowed. Do you actually think he's really gonna do that? He's been saying for like months, I'm gonna get in MMA. I'm gonna get in MMA. It's just all a means to get friggin' attention. That's what this guy wants. He can't not live without getting attention. He hates the fact, like he loves being famous. He can't stand the fact that his name's not in the headlines anymore. But it is. All he has to do is just do something like this, and boom, here it goes again. Everyone's talking about
Japan. What about the fact that he had to go to Japan?
Think about it, though, Eric.
I mean, think about it. Think about it for a minute. And that's the reason, because nobody cares over here. You know what I mean? Nobody cares. There's no fight of value over here for him anymore. People saw his last fight and said, you know what? I don't care if you fight again. I don't need to see you again, because he's passed. He's done.
Do you really think he had any intention of fighting on New Year's Eve at friggin' 2:00 in the afternoon in Japan?
You know what? For 55 or 80 million or whatever the price was, yeah, I do. But I think once he saw this kid, and once he saw the rules and everything like that, once they were trying to talk about the rules and everything like that, because even Rizin said they're going to try to renegotiate with the rules they had coming in, because that sounds like the sticking point.
He wouldn't even fight this kid just boxing with the small gloves, and I'll tell you why. Because he's got very brittle hands. He needs those big gloves to protect his hands.
Right. Yeah, I mean, but
those small gloves, he'll break his hands.
But why go through all this? You know what I mean? Why go through all this nonsense?
I think that I think they paid him a little something to go over there. That's just my opinion. I can't prove it. And I think he got a free vacation, he got free publicity, and he got his name out there. Just like he said that he was going to fight Devin Alexander, and then he ended up fighting Marcos Maidana instead. You know what I mean? Like he puts this stuff out there just to see how people are going to react to it. And, once again, he gets his name out there. I'm not 100% sure. I don't even think he had any intention of going through with this. That's just my opinion. I don't think he had any intention of going through with it. Right from the jump. Right from the jump. I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong.
He looks horrible though now, because everybody sees it that he backed out of a fight against a bantamweight. You know what I mean? Really. And that guy is just no ordinary bantamweight. He's like, from what I was researching on him and everything like that, he's like almost like their John Jones is over there. You know what I mean? Like, he's really, like, they're really hyping him up. He's like the next big thing over there. So, I mean, putting a Floyd Mayweather on this guy's resume, I mean, that's a big deal.
Can I ask you a question? Can anyone defend Floyd Mayweather here?
No.
No.
Then why is one person doing that?
Because he's an idiot.
Why is that like one person?
He's a level Floyd.
And this is the thing, right? We're a boxing show, right? We do boxing. I have a boxing YouTube channel, right? So Floyd Mayweather, what is Floyd Mayweather? He's a boxer, right? So if Floyd Mayweather does something that's related to a boxing match or any type of combat sports, I'm going to talk about it, because what do? I talk about boxing. And what is Floyd Mayweather? He's the most recognized, most popular boxer in the world today.
Yeah.
So if Floyd Mayweather takes a shit, everyone's going to talk about it. That because he's Floyd Mayweather. Does that mean that
I have a Mayweather Promotions contract? I break it as soon as
so so that's why we're talking about Floyd Mayweather. Now,
right.
if you're obsessed with Floyd Mayweather, then you would defend this. So in other words, if you're not obsessed with Floyd Mayweather and you're an objective person, then you would see this for what it is. But if you're obsessed with the guy and you love the guy, and when he buys houses and you freaking take the house he buys and you post the link, the Instagram link on someone's Facebook page or someone's Twitter timeline or someone's Instagram, then that means that actually you're the one that's obsessed, because you're the one who's worried about what he's buying. You're the one who's worried about how much money he has.
Well, didn't this get blocked from Twitter?
Yeah. what people are actually doing that do that and talk like that, what they're doing is they're projecting their own feelings out there. So if you're saying I'm obsessed with him, if someone's saying I'm obsessed with him, then basically they're just projecting their own feelings, because you would have to be obsessed with him to defend him. So that's the thing. Like, Sugar Ray Leonard's my favorite fighter of all time. If someone told me Sugar Ray Leonard sucks, am I going to make a video defending Sugar Ray Leonard? No, I mean, because I don't need you to believe what I believe. But it hurts some people so bad if you say one thing critical of someone that they love, that they idolize. They're the ones that have the true obsession. It's called fanboy syndrome. It's called hero worship syndrome, is what it is. So just thought I'd get that off my chest. It's called hero worship syndrome.
All right. Well, Jason just texted, and he's like, he's chomping at the bit to get in here.
Who else is going to get in?
We're going to let him in, and then we're going to go to, we're going to talk about Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia. So let's see here.
Zone, zone, zone. Zone.
Is what he is.
You know what's funny is every time that I hear his music now, I can hear like the zone in there when it goes dun dun dun, and I hear you saying da da zone.
Oh my God!
Go ahead, counselor.
The only one in the last week's call.
Go ahead, counselor.
Right, I'm not gonna watch it.
Go ahead, counselor.
The one that hated the fight is like obsessed with the fight now. He's done like 3 videos about it.
2 videos. 2 videos. I did one with Eric, and I did one by myself. It's 2 videos. Because again, that's what we talk about. We talk about boxing, and what is Floyd? Floyd is a boxer. So if Floyd does something, we're going to talk about him.
Jesus Christ, Beeb, just let it go. The fight's over. You can cover something else. You don't have to keep talking about Floyd every day. You can.
Well, not according to Rizin. Not according to Rizin. Rizin said they're still negotiating with Floyd.
Yeah, but Floyd, Beeb said, Beeb knows.
So Jason, if what am I allowed to talk about, since you want to censor me and you want to tell me what I can say and what I can't say? Explain to me give me my talking points for the rest of the show. Give me my talking points for the rest of my show. Dad, give me my talking points for the rest of the show. Eric asked me a question. So you want me to raise my hand? And Jason, can I answer this question before I answer? He asked me a question about it. I can voice so basically I'm not allowed to voice my opinion when someone asks me a question on something.
Go ahead.
So if Eric asks me what do I think, I can't talk about it? What am I allowed? Tell me what I'm allowed to say. Since you want to censor everybody.
Who's censoring you? I'm just saying.
You're telling me I can't talk about something if someone asks me a question about it, right? I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Why do you get so?
Yeah, but
why? But Jason, why are you defending it? Like you don't think that what Floyd did was kind of stupid? You don't think it was corny?
Yeah, you're right.
You don't think it was corny? You don't think it was goofy? You don't think it was just yes or no? Was it goofy? Was it goofy what Floyd did? Was it a bad look, Jason? Jason, was it a bad look? Was it a bad look? Yes or no? Jason, was it a bad look? Yes or no? Was it a bad look? Answer the question. Was it a bad look? Was it a bad look? Yes or no? Was it a bad look? Yes or no? Was it a bad look?
Fight sucks. I'm not going to watch it.
Was it a bad look?
Jason, why do you get so upset?
Why was it a bad look? I probably would have watched it. You kidding me? I watch everything.
I can't even answer. Beeb has like.
But just answer my question, and then you can do whatever you want. Was it a bad look what Floyd did coming back? Do you actually believe Floyd didn't know what he was doing when he was over there? Just answer the question.
On your helmet. Relax.
Just answer the question, counselor. Answer the question, counselor.
Was it a bad look?
Was it a bad look? Yes or no? Was it a bad look?
From last week, what I said about
was it a bad look? You're evading the question. You're ducking the question. Was it a bad look what he did? Yes or no?
What did what?
Was it a bad look what he did? Coming back and making up that bullshit excuse.
What did he do?
Coming back and making that. Do you believe he didn't know what he was doing?
That's a good point. Hang on a second, Beeb. hang on a second. So, Jason, B brought up a really good point. So when Floyd came out, when he came back from Japan and said, "I'm pulling out," do you think that was a bad look for him? Do you think that was a stupid thing to do?
Do you okay, let me answer. Do you remember?
Just answer it. Just answer it, yes or no.
Piece of shit fight. I don't want to watch this fucking crap. And now he pulled out. So why am I supposed to be like, oh my God, this is bad?
But it was stupid that he announced it and then he pulled out and then and the reason. So the reason he gave for pulling out, wasn't it stupid? The reason was
it a stupid reason that he pulled out?
For the reason why he pulled out, yes or no?
What the reason was? I'm glad he pulled out.
So basically you're agreeing with me, but it hurts you that you have to agree with me. It hurts you that I'm right. It hurts you that I'm right.
America wants to get
it hurts you that I'm right.
Last week on Fight Hub, he's like begging at Floyd to come sign with DAZN. He said we've got a lot of money for Floyd. They're ready to pay him 20-30 million for any fucking fight.
Well,
so he has
20-30 million. Son, he's asking for like 100 million. That's my point.
He always exaggerates and inflates what he asks and what he gets. That's just Floyd. That's like Trump.
Oh, so he's full of shit then, right? When he talks, he's full of shit, right? So couldn't he be full? So when he came back and talked and gave his excuse, couldn't he have been full of shit there too? Couldn't he have been exaggerating and embellishing the story when he came back too?
Beeb, you need to take your medication, bro. You're like
because you're not answering questions though. You don't like actually debating because when someone debunks your theories, what do? You change the subject. Like it's not like on Facebook and Twitter where you can leave a comment and you don't have to listen to the other person rebuttaling you. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. If you don't answer them, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. You're going to answer them? Are you going to answer them? Are you going to answer the 3 questions? Are you going to answer the 3 questions? Yes or no? Can I ask you 3? Can I ask you 3 questions?
Guys, too many people are talking. Listen up. Listen. Too many people are talking. I can't hear what's going on.
Beeb needs some medication or something.
Can I ask you 3 questions?
Can Beeb ask you 3 questions?
Can I just answer?
Okay, listen. Stop talking for a minute.
Stop talking. Can I ask you 3 questions? Can I ask you 3 questions? Yes or no?
I haven't even said anything.
Can he ask you questions?
Can I ask you 3 questions? And I'll shut up after I ask you these 3 questions. I won't say anything.
No, I'm not answering retarded questions. That means
because see, the reason why he won't answer the questions is because he knows that it'll make Floyd look bad, and that's why he won't answer the questions. Why are you so obsessed with defending him?
I think that I think
why are you so obsessed with defending him?
I can tell you this, like in the chat, you're going on and on about how, Mayweather, and then you get on here and you say, well, I hated the fight. We get that. But all we're trying to do is say, hey.
I said that last week.
You absolutely did. But do you think, I just want to get your opinion on what, because I know he's your guy. I know you look up to him. So I'm trying to find out. We're trying to find out, like, hey, what do you think of him pulling out? Do you think it was a good move? How do you think this makes him look?
You asked me if I thought it's a bad move. No, I think it's a good move that he pulled out. I'm glad he pulled out. Are we done?
Do you think he looks like a punk now that he moved out? Or now that he pulled out?
Punk for what, dude? Nobody in America even knows who that is. Like, who cares? Let's say exhibition fight. Who gives
do you believe his excuse, Jason?
That's a good.
That's it.
Very good question. Do you believe his excuse for pulling out?
Do you believe his excuse for pulling out?
I didn't even read that whole post because I didn't give a shit.
Oh, you didn't read it. Okay, so then why are you having a discussion about something you didn't even read?
What?
Why are you having a discussion about something you didn't even read?
Canelo versus Rocky Fielding. I mean, this fight is just as like.
Now he's changed. Now you're changing the subject because you can't because you're being debunked. That's what someone that does that loses debates. You're changing the subject.
Usyk and Bellew and
now he's changing the subject.
All right, let's talk about it. He's not going to
forget about it. He's not going to answer the question.
All right, so
you're obsessed with defending him.
Let's talk about Usyk and Bellew.
You're obsessed with defending him.
Yeah, I mean, I've been reading on Twitter people saying that Usyk would give Holyfield a tough fight. This retard Steve Kim just tweeted that. Can you believe that shit?
I was thinking about that today. Yeah, I was thinking about that today. I thought, how great would it have been to see Holyfield and Usyk fight?
he would have pummeled that. People fucking Tony Bellew was fucking knocking his head back for like 4 or 5 rounds. Like
Tony Bellew is a good fighter.
I remember his fight with Michael Hunter. Tony Bellew is a nobody.
Come on, son.
1-2 guy with no fucking skills. And I was
Come on.
And he was still winning the fight.
Right.
He was winning the fight at the time of the stoppage, but he's got no skills.
Ward would have fucked Usyk up last night.
Who?
What do you think?
Who would have? Andre Ward?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't think?
I don't know.
Andre Ward would have taken him all 12 rounds and fucking schooled his ass?
Well, you got to think there's a 25-pound difference then. He's got to go up 25 pounds north, right?
Yeah, that's true. What do you think about that, Beeb? I'm curious about your opinion about Ward versus Usyk.
Bigger guy.
It's hard for me to pick against Ward, but this is a tough one. It's a really tough one. I'm not saying Ward can't win, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
I thought, I tell you what, I thought Ward, honestly, if he was, I thought Ward could have really went to heavyweight. I really do. I mean, he was that skilled. He was like a Roy Jones in there.
At least cruiser.
Yeah, at least cruiser, But he's got to put on 25 pounds and fight Usyk. Yeah, I don't know.
Ward's walking around at 200 right now. He looks like Ward's walking around at 200 right now, and he doesn't look fat.
You got to weigh in at 200 pounds.
Yeah,
he's walking around at 200 right now, though, and he looks pretty good.
And he could come in. I mean, he could come in lighter, no question. But I don't know if it would benefit him much. Until Ward loses, I mean, again, I know he's retired.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick him.
I think you got to ride with him.
I'm gonna pick him. I'm gonna pick him.
Yeah, after what he did to Kovalev and stuff twice, it's like, you can't pick against Andre Ward from now on.
Right.
No matter what he decides to do.
Yeah.
I think he was cool fucking Usyk. Like, I didn't see anything special from Usyk last night. That's why, because people like Dan Raphael and Steve Kim have made this fucking kid into a fucking pound-for-pound king. And then when you hear that and when you see him fight, you don't see anything like he's a pound-for-pound king. He should have dominated Bellew last night. Bellew is a fucking average guy. He's fucking
dude, come on.
Beat the shit out of him.
No,
Bellew's not an average guy.
The move to cruiserweight did him good. He didn't do well at light.
Well, I'm gonna say one thing.
Who has Bellew beaten in his whole fucking life besides a one-legged hey? Who has he beaten?
I'm gonna say one thing about this fight, and I was very surprised because out of the 7 rounds, I gave Bellew 4 of the 7 rounds. Now, if you ask me, would Bellew be up? If you ask me, would Bellew be up at any point in this fight? Past the halfway point, I would tell you no. So I was surprised that Bellew was able to be ahead in this fight.
Yeah,
and he won 4 rounds. So, do I want to say that's because of Usyk's overrated, or do I want to say it because Bellew's that good? I'm going to be honest with you. Bellew was landing some clean right hands, and I didn't think he was going to be able to do that. So I'm going to pump the brakes on Usyk a little bit. I'm not going to say he sucks. I'm going to pump the brakes on Usyk a little bit.
No, I don't think he sucks either. I'm not saying that, but
he's a really good fighter. Is he pound for pound?
Not there. The first 4 rounds, I didn't see any head movement. He was going straight back in the line. Like there was no. He was really overconfident. He was overconfident. I guess that's what happened to him because he didn't think Bellew was on his level. So
here's something else to think about. If you give away early rounds to Andre Ward,
yeah,
that's a mistake because he comes back strong in the second half of the fight. So if he starts slow against Andre Ward, he digs himself a hole. He's gonna have a hard time beating Andre Ward because Andre Ward's not gonna get tired. Andre Ward's not gonna fade. Andre Ward is gonna be hard to hit flush. And Andre Ward's been hurt and gotten up before, and he's come back and fought harder after getting hurt and coming back. He's a special fighter.
Go to the body way harder.
Yeah. And we've seen Andre Ward get hit, get hurt, get knocked down, and come back and get up and fight even harder. So
Joe Lopez in the chat just said he accomplished the undisputed status, though, and he's right.
Yeah.
Anybody who becomes an undisputed champion, all the belts, man, they got to have your respect. I mean, they're a special kind of fighter.
That's right. Yep.
And Ward won that Super 6.
When you guys look, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Right, I was going to ask you, when you look at the eye test and you compare the power that Ward and Kovalev were generating from their shots, don't they look like bigger punches than Bellew and Usyk? Or am I wrong?
You know, I mean, I think
it's hard to answer that.
It's a tough thing to answer because it just depends. Because again, you're talking about two different weight classes. You're talking about bigger guys. You're talking about heavier hands, bigger punches. I don't know. I mean, look at the bantamweights when they fight. I mean, they put everything into it.
Fight night, probably like 190. You think 185, 190 fight night? What do you think with Ward?
190.
190.
Easily.
Yeah, 190.
And Ward also 190, probably. You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm figuring about 210.
Faster. And I'm just thinking if Ward went to Usyk's body from round one like he did Kovalev, that would fuck him up. Like I don't think Usyk's ever felt the kind of power to the body with both hands like Ward.
Bellew was landing some really good right hands.
Now would be the perfect time. If Andre Ward had the itch to fight, he's got 4 titles. He could go snag.
That's a big fight. That's a huge fight, and I like that fight better.
You've been very concerned about Badu Jack. I told you he's got to fight. How come you don't know about it, dude? How come you always?
Date.
I try to keep up with everything, but
name, date, and venue. Name, date, and venue. What is it?
Like the Marcus Brown fight?
It's about time you see Marcus Brown in against somebody that can do something because he's had too many soft touches. But I think Badu Jack will ultimately win. But I don't think that's the fight Badu Jack should have. He should be having a rematch with Stevenson because that's what he deserves.
Yeah, but Stevenson has a fight December 1st. I mean, you keep saying that. I don't know why. I mean, they can't. How are they going to get him a fight with Stevenson? He's got a fight coming up also.
They should have got him a fight with Stevenson before that fight.
Who's Badu Jack fighting, Jason?
Stevenson was waiting
Marcus Brown, he's saying.
Fight before it's mandatory, bro.
Doesn't say it here.
No.
It's not. It hasn't been announced yet.
Right.
What hasn't been announced?
The Marcus Brown,
Badu Jack hasn't been announced yet.
It's been lined up. Also, I was going to say Thurman versus Josecito Lopez is almost done for January 26th.
What date? What's the date? What's the date they're fighting? What venue they fighting at?
Huh?
What's the date and what venue they fighting at?
January 26th, Barclays, most probably. That's what they're prepared for.
Probably or it is. Probably or it is.
It's not scheduled.
It's not signed, right?
Barbershop Conversation said.
Oh, okay. Barbershop Conversation said it. Okay. And what does that mean?
Sam Watson, he goes over to Sam Watson's house and Brandon Watson.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, great. All right.
He's close to them.
These are the sources that this kid uses. And he's saying that what we say is fake news. He's going on friggin' YouTube channels.
Remember before Manny signed with Heyman 2 weeks before that, I told you also that it was true, and you were like, "Oh, that's not real news."
You get a fighter on his last legs for Thurman to fight. That's
yeah. And also friggin' Gervonta Davis was supposed to be on. Gervonta Davis was supposed to be on the undercard of Wilder Fury. What happened with that? That didn't happen. So don't believe all these rumors, kid.
Once or twice a day, dude. Come on. Even Einstein's wrong once or twice a day. I didn't know.
What Badu Jack was supposed to be, Abner Mares was supposed to be on that undercard. Well, how come that wasn't on? How come he wasn't on it? There's another rumor. All these rumors that they pump out, man. Don't believe them.
Yeah, I agree.
All you need to say when you say something, Jason.
From what I understand is that Kenny, with Kenny Porter, the Porters are actually still negotiating with Thurman for a fight coming up next. They haven't said anything about.
Clarified that. Sean Porter clarified that. He said only thing that's been done is the WBC convention. They said that Thurman and Porter should be next if Thurman wants.
Yeah, but if something
negotiation.
But if something is a rumor, just say this is what I heard. Just say I heard this. I don't know if it's true. Don't say things like they're with 100% certainty.
Right.
All you have to do is just say this is what I heard. I don't know if it's going to happen. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Don't say it like it's 100% certainty because you know how things happen in this sport. So many people say things. So many people say things. So many people. I never do that. I say this is what I heard. What we do is we'll say this is what we've heard. We don't know if it's true.
Right.
Don't come out because it's sexy. Don't come out because it's sexy and you want to act cool and try to break something. Just say this is what I heard.
Beeb, would you agree that ESPN is a credible source?
Absolutely.
There you go. That's a credible source. It's about as credible as it gets.
With all due respect to barbershop conversations, he's said a lot of things over the years, and he was wrong.
What's this?
I've already read that book.
What is this?
What's it called, Robbie? I forgot the name. I don't know the name of it. What's it called?
I don't have the title in front of me, but I have read it.
What book?
Yes.
What are you talking about now?
Book.
There's a book written all about ESPN and what goes on behind the scenes.
What a shit show it is. But anyway, I was gonna say the undercard, Joe Joyce and Horn and Hurd and them. I don't like the fight. I think this card belongs in LA. That's why they're having trouble selling tickets, if it's to be believed, because the only people that have said that have been Eddie Hearn and some YouTube people.
Well, that undercard sucks, man.
Yeah, Eddie Hearn came out and said they've only sold about 8,000 tickets.
Didn't ESPN say it too, Eric?
That I don't know.
What, Kelly fought some bum, Corolla fought some no-name guy? I mean, you know what happened. What do you mean you don't know?
Yeah, they're saying that yeah, there's Eddie Hearn came out and said yesterday that they only sold 8,000 tickets for that Wilder Fury card.
How would Eddie Hearn know?
I don't know, maybe because he's juiced in the biz. I don't know. He's one of the promoters. I don't know. Why would he know?
All of Eddie Hearn's shows in America flop like 6,000, 7,000. So he's bitter. He's a bitter guy. I mean, you know,
he's still putting them on.
Well, he's drinking the UK Kool-Aid. That's what he's doing.
Yeah. Also, what do you guys think about Heyman going over to the UK doing the Gale versus what's his name, Eubank fight on ITV?
That's a good fight.
What do you got?
That's a good fight. I like it. I like it.
Fight.
I don't mind that. I'm not hating on that.
I don't hate that fight.
No.
Okay.
All right, Jason, we're gonna get running, man.
All right, guys.
All right, man. Robert just exhaled like, oh my God.
I feel bad. I just feel bad for the guy. I care about the guy. That's why I try to help him. If I didn't care about him, I'd just let him keep going and saying these things. But people listen to this.
A boxing podcast. We're not here to rehab somebody that can't be fixed.
I just believe in the kid, Robbie. I think I can change him. I think I can help him.
Do it on your own time.
Wow.
Please, Robbie. Feel bad for the kid.
Oh, God. Let's talk about Mikey Garcia and Earl Spence.
Good move, Robert. According to the LA Times, Spence versus Garcia is going to take place on March 16th at AT&T Stadium. This is where the Cowboys play, also known as Jerry World. What do you think of this fight, man? I mean, it's not official yet, but all signs are pointing to March 16th. Kenny Porter also said, I read this too, that he said that they wanted to fight, Porter wanted to fight Errol Spence. They said that fight was no longer on the table because he was looking at other options or whatever. That other option, I mean, think about it. If you're Errol Spence, Porter is your best option unless Garcia comes over. That's the best option. You know what I mean? Bigger name, everything. So,
Eric, the way I view this, it's a good event, but it's going to be a lousy fight.
Wow.
The tickets are going to sell real well because, you know, he's from Dallas and there's a high Mexican population. So Garcia will do well in the ticket sales. You might see a good maybe 60,000, 70,000. Remember, that stadium holds over 100,000 people if they open it all the way up.
Yeah.
I mean, Canelo got 50,000 in there for Liam Smith. So the people in Dallas, they will support, especially somebody in their local area. But as far as the actual fight goes, we've discussed this before. Earl's too big for him. Mikey's going to be competitive, but Earl's too big for him, and he's going to overwhelm him at some point and probably eventually stop him. This is a bad move I understand why he's doing it for money point of view, but that's a hell of a way to lose your undefeated status. You know, because I see no way. There's no way that Mikey Garcia is going to win this fight. Earl Spence is either going to knock him out, or it's going to be a one-sided wide decision for Spence. I mean, Beeb is better at breaking down fights than I am, but I just don't see a way that Mikey Garcia is going to be competitive enough to actually win the fight, especially with the fight being in Texas with those Texas judges.
Let me ask you a question, Eric. When's the proposed date for this? Because first I heard it was supposed to be February. Now they're saying, what is it, March?
February.
No, LA Times is reporting that it's March 16th.
Before it was February, though. But originally they were saying February, right? That was the first proposed date.
I think so. I think that was the first proposal. I think March is a better
then
time.
I heard Mikey Garcia talking about the fight with Ellie, and he said that it hasn't been signed yet.
Right, that's correct.
I'm going to be honest.
Official. It is not official.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm going to be honest with you right now. I don't think it's going to happen.
Wow.
I hate to be a Debbie Downer because I don't really. I mean, if it happens, it happens. I think it's kind of cool in a way because it has that intrigue factor to it. I just don't think it's going to happen. I just don't. Just like the whole.
I don't see a very good outcome.
And now I'm questioning. There's rumors about Pacquiao Broner. I don't even think that's going to happen now, too.
Why? What's the rumor on Pacquiao Broner? I didn't.
They were supposed to be fighting in January. That was a rumor that was being tossed out there.
Right.
I have a feeling that's not going to happen either.
Why? What gives you that idea?
I just don't trust PBC. They just like they told us that Gervonta Davis was going to be fighting Abner Mares in December. Like I just don't. I don't have faith that these fights are going to happen. They're just too good to be true.
No, I think those fights are going to happen. I
hope they do. I hope I'm wrong, and I want to be
Pacquiao. I think that happens.
I want to be wrong, but I just have a feeling both fights aren't going to happen.
Some of these fights, okay. Say Pacquiao and Broner fought in, why can't you put a lot of these fights on the LA card? I mean, that undercard sucks. I mean, you're going to entice me to buy that card on December 1st. I need more than Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder.
Well, here's the thing, right? Pacquiao and Broner was supposed to be in what? Was supposed to be for January, they said, right? The end of January?
Yeah.
Right.
What's
today? November? I mean, they better get cracking because they don't have a date, they don't have a venue.
Well, number one, we don't know that.
It hasn't been announced to us yet.
They are very notorious, and they are very notorious at announcing fights that have already been through, the press and everything is saying, hey, it's signed and everything.
Yeah.
But they are very notorious for announcing them late. You know what I mean? Look at the Danny Garcia fight. That was announced late. It seems like all their fights kind of get announced late. The Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder card is the only one that's been announced now. They've really wanted it because they've been doing a lot of publicity.
They usually announce them 2 months in advance, though, Eric. At least 2 months, because the training camp is 8 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, typically, but PBC works a little bit different.
Yeah. Well,
so
I hope I'm wrong. I'm just very skeptical that both fights don't happen.
No, I think that fight happens. I think both fights happen.
And I'm rooting to be wrong.
Floyd's got you shook. That's what's happening. Floyd's got you shook because Floyd pulled out.
Realistically, guys, do you see any way? I mean, we know how good Mikey Garcia is because he's won multiple titles in multiple weight classes. But do you see any way, if that fight comes off, that he's competitive enough to make it entertaining?
Yeah,
because I see a one-sided blowout.
You know what I see this fight like? I see it like Triple G and Kell Brook. I really do. I see it like a Triple G Kell Brook fight. It was competitive. You trying to say it wasn't competitive? That was a competitive fight.
It was for the second and third round.
I thought it was a pretty competitive fight. That's what I see it. Because he's moving up from 135 to 147, and Garcia's a very good fighter. I tell you what, Spence is just. I think he's on a different level.
It's too big.
That's what I think.
He's too big.
And Mikey ain't there.
Well, and I mean, even if you took Mikey, and even if Mikey was at the same level, it's still not, because he's still got to move up. You know what I mean? It's not like Shane Mosley moving up to fight De La Hoya. I don't see it like that. Remember how Shane Mosley moved up from 135 and then went up there to 147. Right. I don't see it like that, but man, I tell you what, I just think Spence is special. I think he's the best welterweight in the world. I think he's pound for pound the best fighter in the world. Him and Lomachenko.
Pound for pound?
I mean, who beats him? Who beats him?
Be able to settle that because Crawford.
What about Canelo? Crawford, Canelo?
Yeah, Crawford not so much, but Canelo, yeah, I think it's tough to, pound for pound is so tough because it is hard to go against Canelo now. I mean, Canelo's got the best resume in boxing, no?
Yeah, he's got the most names on his resume.
Who's got a better resume? Yeah,
nobody. He's got if you want to think about it, Canelo's got a better resume than Golovkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He absolutely does.
He's got a better resume than Golovkin.
Sure, he does. So, but I tell you what, I like Mikey Garcia. I like Errol Spence. I think it's a good fight. I think it's an entertaining fight. I know I'm buying it, and I'm hearing it'll be on pay-per-view. But
keep telling me it's going to happen. Convince me it's going to happen so I can have something to look forward to.
Totally buying that fight, though. Robert, you're not interested in that fight, no?
We'll buy it.
I am, but I just don't see it. I don't see a very good outcome. He's a wonderful fighter, but I don't think he can hang with Spence. I really don't.
What is it that he can't hang with him on? Just his power?
Power, his speed, the size difference. Mikey doesn't realize what he's in for. I think it's going to be a complete culture shock.
Here's the thing, Eric. If you're a counterpuncher, you have to be perfect. And because counterpunchers don't throw as many punches as guys who are stalkers and swarmers. So there's more margin of error for a guy who's coming forward who's a stalker and who's a swarmer as opposed to a guy who's a counterpuncher. So Mikey Garcia is going to have to land punches that are going to snap Errol Spence's head back and that are going to stop him from moving forward.
Right.
And if he can't do that, then he's either going to get knocked out or he's going to get walked down and he's going to get beat up. So that's what you have to ask yourself. Can Garcia land the shots that are going to stop Errol Spence in his tracks? Because if Errol Spence is allowed to come forward and walk Mikey down, then it's going to be a problem. Because I can't see Mikey turning Spence all night. Hell, fucking Kell Brook couldn't do it. How's Mikey going to do it?
Yeah, I would like. I mean, yeah, that's a great point.
He's got to be perfect. He's got to land picture perfect punches and not get hit in the process.
And I definitely think Spence wins that fight, but I think it's more competitive than we're giving Garcia credit for. I don't know that he gets.
I hope you're right.
Completely run off the table.
I hope you're right because I hate seeing blowouts. I don't want to see anyone get hurt.
Up in the same condition that Brook wound up in at the end of the fight. Eye socket broken and surgery underway.
Oh, come on,
Robbie. Why are you saying those things? You're putting a bad omen on Mikey Garcia, kid.
Because Beeb, come on. I just don't see it turning out any other way, man. I got.
You're predicting he loses by broken eye socket?
Oh,
there's not even a line for that on 5 Dimes, Robbie.
What's the matter?
There's not even a line on 5 Dimes for that.
You're sadistic. Stop it.
You might see a few broken bones in his.
What is this? Mortal Kombat? I picked Spence to win by freaking flawless victory or fatality. I predict him to win by fatality.
Hey, speaking of people changing, let me tell you what. Speaking of people like changing picks and everything like that, in 5 Dimes and everything. Did you guys see the video? Beeb, you saw the video I sent you of Deontay Wilder hitting the pads?
Yeah.
Doing the mitt work?
Yeah.
How good did he look on those mitts?
I don't want to say anything against Deontay Wilder. I don't want him to come look me up like he did Charlie Z. I don't want to be working. I don't want to be at freaking Planet Fitness one day doing reps and have Deontay Wilder come. What'd you say about me, boy?
He looked horrible on those mitts. He was missing them left and right. Yeah, he looked bad, man. I'm telling you what, man. Tyson Fury's beating him, man. I'm telling you. You heard it here, man. I'm telling you, Tyson Fury's beating him. Tyson Fury's murking that guy.
Eric, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I've been looking for a reason to pick Tyson Fury because I've been on the fence with this, and I'm a huge Tyson Fury fan.
That video should have been it.
And I'm gonna tell you something right now, and this is with all due respect to yourself. You're the type of guy where you're not a high risk type guy. Like when you're a very like. You bet the chalk a lot. All due respect, you bet the chalk a lot.
Absolutely.
Okay, you're the guy at the poker table that will fold 50 hands. We call guys like you leather ass at the poker table. A stone. A stone. Because you'll sit there and fold hands. So for you to be picking Tyson Fury, you have to see something here. And I want to see something. I'm looking for that. And you may have just given me that ray of hope to pick Tyson Fury. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm going against my logic. Because I never, I have to see something tangible to make a pick here. Because a lot of times, if I feel that I'm betting with my heart, I just won't bet the fight. If I want someone to win that I'm not sure they're going to win, I just won't bet the fight. But you've actually convinced me. When I do my beating the odds at Beeb, I'm picking Tyson Fury.
I told you.
You've swayed me, and I never let people sway me. But if a guy like you is picking Tyson Fury, I have to roll with Tyson Fury because
gotta roll with
you're the guy that picked Bellew over Hay, and I got to give you that.
Twice.
No, you were wrong with the Eubank thing. I tried to talk you off that ledge, but that's okay.
But you know what? I mean, Eubank. Let's be realistic about it. He almost came back and won that thing. Because he was injured or he got out. One of the guys was injured. If he goes back in that spot, who knows?
You're stupid to low levels here now, please. You don't want to win that. You don't want to win that way.
I'm just saying.
Gonna have to take the spray paint out and put the NWO on that belt that you got. You're gonna go down that route.
Well, that's okay, guys. I'll be glad to stick with Wilder. I think Wilder wins.
Son, you didn't see that video. All right, let's go ahead and go to the callers here. 805. 805, you're live.
Nacho, before you start, can I ask you a quick question?
Not much.
Okay. As far as the
Nacho, Beeb wants to ask you a question real quick. Go ahead, Beeb.
Can I ask you a question real quick, Nacho?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you believe Floyd Mayweather's story?
You know what? Not really. And the only reason I say that is because how does a guy who basically is very calculated and very cunning about every maneuver that he makes in his career, how does he allow someone to basically walk him into a quote-unquote setup and not know what the hell he's getting into? Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever that he's going to sit there and say that he was duped. Like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You're up there on stage with the guy, you shake hands, you're telling the press you're going to, fight this kid and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you decide to pull out, and then you come out with this Instagram story talking about like, oh, I was set up. I never agreed to fight him in front of thousands of people. It was supposed to be an exhibition in front of a small group of rich investors. Get the fuck out of here. Like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. I think what happened was he realized that it was probably going to end up being an MMA fight, and he probably wanted it to be a boxing match. And at this point, he just said, forget it. He goes, I'm not going to let this kid tee off on me with knees, kicks, elbows, everything else. So I think that's why he pulled out. I don't believe for 1 second.
Is it a bad look for him? Is it a bad look the way he pulled out?
Logical. I really do.
All right.
It makes him look bad just because.
Thank you.
He went through the whole ruse of promoting it, and then.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's how a logical person would answer those two questions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then 2 days later you fly back and then you say, "Oh, I never agreed to participate in a, fight with this kid." Blah blah blah. So yeah, the whole story doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I think he wanted a boxing match, and instead it was going to be probably an MMA fight or a boxing match. And he said, "Forget it."
That's how a logical person answers those two questions, ladies and gentlemen. All right, go ahead and break down the fights. I just needed you to say that.
Okay. As far as the Usyk Bellew, I got to give Tony Bellew a whole lot of credit. I didn't think that he would be able to give Usyk any problems. I thought Usyk would figure him out pretty quickly. But it was interesting that Bellew's kind of herky-jerky style was able to give him an issue the first few rounds. And I thought he won the first 4 rounds of the fight. And then from round 5 on, Usyk slowly started to time him and hit him with some shots that he wasn't able to see. and he was starting to hit him with the right hook over the top of his jab. And once he started landing that, it was just a matter of time before he was able to pinpoint that straight left. And once that happened, it was pretty much good night at that point. And that was a hell of a knockout for him to get on the road. I don't disagree with some people talking about could he challenge Evander Holyfield for possibly the greatest cruiserweight in the history of the division.
No.
I think he could. I think the guy's skills are so good that if you were to match him up against that Holyfield, who was a cruiserweight, and Usyk, I think it would be a very competitive fight. I mean, I give Holyfield a lot of credit. He took out a lot of very good fighters in his day, and the war against Dwight Muhammad Qawi is, the stuff of legend.
Oh, absolutely, that was a hell of a fight.
Yeah, if maybe I think the only way Holyfield beats Usyk is if we go back to the 15-round days. I think then he might be able to
love that.
outlast Usyk. Yeah, if you went back to the 15-round days, then I think Holyfield has the leg up on Usyk because that's something that Usyk is never going to get a chance to do, is go 15 rounds in a world title fight. So I don't disagree. I think it'd be a hell of a matchup if you could ever make it. But I think people who are saying that Usyk doesn't belong in that discussion as far as the greatest cruiserweight, I think that's unfair to him. The guy has gone across continents and beaten guys in their own backyards for their titles. I mean, there's not too many guys in other divisions that are doing that, so you got to give it to him just on that alone.
Well, he's the only boxer right now that's holding all 4 titles in his division. So
yeah, exactly.
And defended them all.
And he's proved he's and he's proved he's a road warrior, willing to go on the road and take guys' titles in front of their fans. I mean, not too many world champions do that, So you got to give the guy credit for
that's a
that.
big, that's that's a great point too. And I don't even think we really covered that. Is that he went to England and fought Bellew right there.
Yeah,
defended his titles.
And then he went to Latvia and he beat Bradis, and then he went to Russia and he beat Garcia. I mean, not too many world champions are going to the other guy's backyard to beat him in front of their fans.
Where is he from? He's from Kiev, right?
Because in today's world of boxing, most champions try to make sure they have a home canvas advantage.
Yeah, exactly, Robbie. That's what I'm saying. That's why you got to give Usyk a lot of credit, because he's doing something that most world champions wouldn't even think of doing.
I don't know.
So, that alone, makes him. He stands out above a lot of guys who are world champions nowadays. As far as the co-main, I was a little disappointed. I thought Krola Jordan was going to be a better fight, but I agree with you guys. I think Jordan, I don't know what it was, but he basically gave that fight away. I think if he had been able to outwork Krola, I think he could have legitimately stopped him towards the end of that fight, because in the last 4 rounds of that fight, he was really coming on at the end, and he was, beating Krola relatively easily, but he gave away pretty much that first half of that fight, and he really didn't start to put his, game plan into action until the second half of the fight, and by then it was kind of too late. Like, he gave that fight away, in my opinion, which is disappointing, but
he didn't land enough punches, though.
A decent fighter, but if he thinks that he has any shot in hell of ever getting Lomachenko in the ring, he's dreaming. Lomachenko's gonna, he'd toy with him, and I think Krola's gonna have to wait till that title gets vacated by Lomachenko before he ever gets a shot at it again. And the Josh Kelly fight, man, Josh Kelly is like in the same realm as Errol Spence.
How good does that guy look?
Huge 147-pounder.
Yeah.
Like, when you look at him versus the guy he was fighting, he looked like a middleweight compared to the guy he was fighting. The guy he was fighting didn't even look like he was a 147-pounder. It was crazy. So, I mean, he looked good in the 1 round that he dispatched him in, but I definitely want to see what he looks like against Avanesian in his next fight. That's a really good test for a guy who has less than 10 fights under his belt at this point. So we'll see how good Josh Kelly really is on December 8th after that fight. As far as the Fury Wilder, you guys were asking last week what the price was. They said it's going to be a $65 price tag for that pay-per-view.
That's not bad.
Which is horrendous considering what's on that pay-per-view. And
I think I'll keep my money in my pocket.
What?
Come on, Robbie.
You're not watching that for real?
Cut it out, Robbie. Cut it out.
Not at that price.
Why? Robbie ain't got DAZN. He's not getting ESPN Plus. He's not getting any apps. He's not watching the fight.
Robbie, you can't take it with you, brother.
Yeah, what are you going to watch? Figure skating from here on out, man? What are you doing?
What's going on, Robbie? What do you
Come
do?
If Nacho's correct and that's $65, it's not worth it.
So
Drop
bring a
it
couple
down
of
to
people
50.
over, man. Have a party or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
$65 is cheap for a pay-per-view. That's how much the UFC ones cost.
Yeah. Robbie's leaving the sport behind, boy.
Please, Robbie. What are you doing?
No,
What are you
hey,
doing?
they've left me.
Wow.
Robbie.
And the days over here.
I'm surprised.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure
Anyway.
sounds like it.
Yeah. No, 65, huh, Nacho? Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Well,
It's a great price.
I don't blame you. I definitely don't blame you. So, but at least you'll get to see Stevenson against Gvozdyk on Showtime, Robbie.
Yeah, well, he'll dispose of him with no problem. You know. Well, I'd really like to see Stevenson lose, but I don't know. I don't know if Boznick can do that or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Gvozdyk can overtake him, to be honest. You know, so.
I mean, you
I don't know,
talk about holding a title hostage. He's done that, and it's time for him to lose it.
Yeah, but unfortunately, without, with him being on the PBC side, he's never going to reach out and fight someone who's a non-PBC guy.
Oh,
I mean, as it is, this fight only happened because
that's why our only hope is Body Jack taking it off of him.
Yeah, but that fight against Marcus Brown's a really interesting matchup. I mean, I don't know. That's gonna be a tough fight.
I think it's interesting to the point where we can see where Marcus Brown really is. I mean, my God, you talk about a guy that's had one soft touch after another. Let's see if he's ready for a Body Jack.
That's a good fight.
I think this is
That's a good fight.
A fight, that's for sure. Yeah, I think that's the plan, is to see if he's a legit contender or if he's just going to be a pretender from now on. And then as far as the, I didn't pay for it, guys. I actually got to see the fight later on after it was uploaded to YouTube. I saw the Gamboa card.
Did you watch that fight?
You guys did, yeah. Basically.
Oh, you must have had a lot of time on your hands yesterday, kid.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
man.
I did.
Wow.
They both looked like they were in sparring sessions with the opponents.
Yeah, it looked like a horrible
Yeah,
matchup.
both guys they're on that other side of the hill at this point. And,
What?
Yeah.
I guess the next step for those two is to fight each other.
Yeah, that's
Who
what they said. They
cares?
said that they're fighting each other in March.
Oh,
Yeah, who
okay.
cares?
Wow.
Yeah,
That's how late that came off.
Another integrated sports pay-per-view special.
yeah.
Probably going to be on the.
The sports son doing it.
They should have put it on the Wilder Fury undercard.
Jeez. No wonder why I didn't see how much that was yesterday. Wow.
Hey, don't ask for that on that undercard. They've already got Robert Guerrero, Chris Arreola, and Chavez Jr. on that whole undercard, guys.
Is that the worst undercard of all time? Is that worse? Is that worse than the Golovkin Canelo undercard?
It's up there, that's for sure. But you know what? I tell you what. Say what you want about but you know what? At the end of the day, the fights got to speak for themselves, because I thought the Canelo Triple G fight, the undercard, that second fight, the undercard for that, I thought the fights were entertaining. I mean, you can say what you want. They were blowouts. They were entertaining. I mean, you see guys get knocked out and stuff. That was pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole disappointing thing about it was that you had to sit there for 90 minutes and watch Lampley and Kellerman and
HBO is
Roy
horrible
Jones
on
fill up airtime.
HBO has always been bad on time management for sure. All right, Nacho, we're gonna get moving here.
All right,
Thank you so much for the call. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Nacho.
All right, area code 718. 718, you're live.
That would be Mr. Suleiman.
Hey, how you doing? Robbie? How you doing?
Hey, we're good,
Eric,
man. We're
how
good.
you doing? Happy
Hey, what's up, kid?
Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you.
all the hosts and to all the listeners.
There
And
you go.
Thank you, sir.
mhm. And then I just want to start with that Bellew fight. That Bellew fight, I mean, Bellew, we have to give a lot of appreciation to Bellew. Bellew was a world talent, man. I mean, he was winning the fight at the for the first beginning of the fight. Um, he showed his world class at the end of the day. But the problem is that this guy was stalking him, and when he tagged him, he got might have been he lost that fight due to his overconfidence too, and maybe that's why he lost, because if he would have been more move use a little more movement like he was doing in the beginning of the fight, he could have won that fight. He could have won. He was leading on the scorecards, and I don't know. I don't think he should retire. I think he should try and have another fight. Have another fight. Mhm. You were saying
I
get
don't.
another fight in there, and then because he still has a lot in the tank. You know what I'm saying?
He does,
So
but
and
it's
Usyk, I think.
it,
Mhm.
it's tough to when
You
a
were saying?
guy says, "Hey, I'm done," or "This is my last fight." It's tough to bring him back. You know what I mean? So my fear for him would be if he does come back and want another fight, his heart just wouldn't be in it. You know what I mean? It's not the same. Once you check out, I think you check out. It's hard to come back in.
And
What did Bellew say that after the fight he's done?
Yeah, yeah, he did.
said it before the fight too.
Yeah,
Okay, and Usyk, he's going through a Deontay Wilder syndrome right now. In the sense that like he's losing on the cards, and then I don't know what he comes out and does a knockout. So he's starting to go into that syndrome. I think he should, his trainers should jump on him now, tell him to stop trying to win the rounds at the beginning, and then because that's gonna creep up on him if he goes to heavyweight, because you're dealing with stunning punchers, and that's gonna catch up to him. In my opinion, I think he should stay at cruiserweight. Just keep defending his titles at cruiserweight. I think it'll be more lucrative for him. He create a hotbed for himself there and not touch the heavyweight division at all. Because if he goes into the heavyweight division, I mean, power counts, and that's something that he lacks. He packs his punches. Even in that fight, his punches are not that strong. The thing is that this guy he lowered his defense, and he created an opening for him to tag him, and that's what caused the knockout. Then the Crawler fight, I agree with Nacho. Um, People are saying that Daoud Ordan is not that good. He's pretty good. He's a good fighter. The problem is that he probably was struck by the audience and all that, and that's what cost him the fight. And at the end of the at end rounds, he was winning, but that it wasn't enough for him to make a decision. Now to go to Tyson Fury and Deontay, uh, Deontay Wilder is gonna be like Usyk. He's gonna lose a lot of rounds in the beginning. He's gonna look for a spontaneous knockout. Uh, Tyson Fury, his career, he's showing that he's pretty durable. He could take a beating. He probably could get cut like his cousin or something like that. Swell up because he's going against a world class puncher. But if he continues to use his weight, his height, his movement, he might squeak out a split decision on this because Deontay Wilder tends to lose a lot of early rounds. He showed it in several fights, and I mean, people are saying that is a walkthrough. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it's gonna be a walkthrough at all. I think Tyson Fury is aiming to prove something. Um, his boxing style is pretty good. He might not be the most entertaining fighter when it comes in the ring, but he does win the fights. Um, Everybody's saying that Jarrett Hurd against that guy, the British guy, Jason Warburton, is gonna be a boring fight. I think it's a good matchup. I think that's the kind of guy that we could see the best out of Jarrett Hurd. I think he could try to tune up Jarrett Hurd in that fight because he's a middleweight. He has a couple of accolades in the British level, British regional level. I would like to see him fight him and see if he shows something new from Jarrett Hurd's arsenal that we need to see. So maybe they could match him up with one of the other 154 pounders or middleweights. Um, that's about it. I think I covered most entertainment stuff. Juan Manuel Lopez did want to fight this weekend. He showed that he still has what it takes. Um, he's gonna fight next. They're gonna try to make that match with like Nacho was saying with Gamboa. I think Gamboa is a little chinny right now. If Juan Manuel dropped the guy that he fought I think last night or the day before 4 times. If he ties him, he's gonna drop him, and you never know. He might just win a knockout. I think Juan Manuel maybe wants another chance at a crack at a title. He still is very popular in Puerto Rico. I think maybe a Burchell fight with him would be nice for his last hurrah or something like that. And you guys have a great day, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk in your show. And also, I don't hear nobody mentioning the atrocity that's happening to Manuel Char. Manuel Char passed his B sample, and he's still the reigning WBA regular champion. I don't think that fight with Jairo Mid is going to be for that title. I think he should be allowed to defend his belt against Fresco Kendo and move on to bigger and better things. You guys take care.
All right. Thank you so much,
Okay,
Nacho.
thank you.
Or, I'm sorry, Suleiman. I'm sorry. Couldn't Nacho on the brain.
Did he say he passed his B sample?
You know how, and Suleiman brought this up, and thank you to Suleiman because he brought this up too about the Manuel Char situation. Yeah, he passed his B sample.
That's very
so
rare.
For anybody who doesn't know how this works. All right, Robbie knows how this works because he's failed a bunch of drug tests in his time, but he knows how to pass them and that kind of thing. But what you do, what's that?
I've never used drugs in my life.
Well, I hear what you say.
We already have the bottles.
We got the risk.
You know what? We've seen them. We've seen them.
So when you test out, what happens is you pee in a bottle or whatever, or the jar or whatever they give you, and then they divide it into two specimens. You know, they have an A sample. They take it and half it. They test the A sample, and they call one an A sample, one a B sample. So the B sample goes on the shelf. The A sample is the one that goes through the test. Now, if the A sample comes back bad, then they say, hey, you can immediately test your B sample. Now, the B sample always comes back bad because it's from the same sample, same batch of urine, if you will. So that always comes. It's very rare that it doesn't come back.
Very rare.
Very rare. So when the B sample comes back, his B sample was negative. If the B sample is negative, then all of a sudden now we have a problem, because if if your sample, the first sample tested bad, but the other sample didn't test bad, well, then I think you're exonerated at that point. No?
I guess you are.
Because either there was something wrong with the test, but because think about it, how could the B sample not be bad?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Unless the A was a false positive.
Right. And that's the most likely thing, is that it's a false positive. So Manuel Char now.
See him fight 45-year-old Fred the kid.
Oh, Robbie, he passed the test, baby. Give him credit. Come on.
And didn't Suleiman say last week he was the one that called in about Jason Wellborn, right?
He did.
And Suleiman, that's what I like about Suleiman. Suleiman watches all the fights. He watches all those guys, and he knows guys that like we don't know.
Yeah.
And guys that are like suspect, or when they come up and like, who is this guy? Suleiman's probably watched the guy, but he's got me so excited now about watching that Jason Wellborn fight with Jared Hurd. I'm really excited to see it now.
What I love about Suleiman, Eric, is he'll break down all the titles and who has what, and who should fight for what, and how many titles.
He knows what he's talking about.
He does stuff. Yeah.
You may not always agree with what he says and who he picks and everything like that, but he knows what he's talking about, man.
That's right.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
804, area code 804. You're live.
Mr. Corey.
What's happening?
Corey.
Banger!
90 seconds.
Did you miss me?
I missed you,
Corey.
Corey.
You, baby!
You're better than Jason.
And guess what? My boy knocked out Bellew, baby. Can I get it? Hey, Eric,
You got revenge.
come on, man. Tighten up.
It was funny.
You didn't do the viral pop at the next day.
What was funny about this? Corey had to keep picking against Bellew until he lost. He had to keep picking against Bellew till he lost. Your boy got murked twice against Bellew.
Yeah, Corey didn't pay up the first time around. So.
Yo, come on, Robbie. from in the bet? Were you in the bet too?
No, but
He picked, and you know what? Hey, Beeb. Hey,
Yeah.
Beeb.
Yeah.
He picked Creed in the movie against Pretty Ricky Conlon. Still lost. All right.
And by the way, they're
Hey,
coming
no,
out with Creed 2.
Yeah, I hear.
Ronaldo, man, they with the whole fight situation, man. Like I was telling y'all, I've been telling y'all this for the past 2-3 years now. About Usyk, being my number one pound for pound fighter. Everything is coming into fruition right now. And I told you about that about
10 seconds
ago. On this show. So,
Corey, I got to give it to you. Yeah, he was the first one that told us about Inoue and about he was the real deal. I mean, this is when Inoue was getting hyped up and everything. Corey came out and said, "Hey, Inoue's the real deal." And I said, "Well, we gotta have him."
Boxing.
I said, "We got to see him fight some real opposition," and we've seen it. So,
Yep.
Payana wasn't no walk in the park. Rasheed Warren lost to Payana, and Inoue knocked him out. I haven't been on the show since then. So
that was it. Yeah, Inoue put him away. That's why I was looking forward to that fight. Inoue put him away. That fight wasn't even. Just clubbed him.
He's a monster, and not only is he a huge mega star out there in Japan. I mean, a lot of people probably don't even know that he sells out. 12, 13,000 seat arenas out there, man. Easy.
He's a big star over there. Big star.
I mean, he's a huge star out there, and a lot of American fans don't even know about that. They're just stuck on Wilder and Spence all freaking day. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm a global boxing aficionado, so I'm not really going to just stay in one lane. You gotta broaden your horizon. You gotta, open your mind to other boxers. And like I said, that's how I came up to Usyk. As soon as the Klitschko brothers signed Usyk, the first time I started talking about Usyk was when Usyk he only had like 4 professional fights, and he was sparring Klitschko to get him ready for the Tyson Fury fight. And then Usyk came in there at first as one of Klitschko's sparring partners, and he wound up taking the lead role in all the sparring partners, out of all the sparring partners, and this was a cruiserweight at the time, so I knew he was going to be special just from that fact alone, and he had some really good talent in there, in the sparring camp, with Klitschko and stuff, you know what I mean? With some world-class dudes in there. Klitschko doesn't bring in guys that are bums and stuff. He brings in Deontay Wilder was in his camp. Tyson Fury was in his camp. He's got a lot of A-class fighters that have been in, Klitschko's camps. You know what I mean? So he does not bring in, small talent. You know what I mean? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you guys, I know I'm kind of going out on a limb on this one, man. But if I'm not mistaken, if the years adding up right, I believe that Deontay Wilder and Usyk were in the same training camp with Klitschko. Could you imagine all of that in one camp? Oh my God.
Yeah,
dude.
no.
That'd be lit, dude. Just for me to be a fly on the wall, man. Damn. All that talent in one room, you know what I mean? One gym, you know what I mean?
That's
It's just
insane.
awesome to watch that, man. You know what I mean? But, and Tyson Fury was in there as well, too. So it's one of those type of situations where, Emmanuel Stewart even said that Usyk was going to be really good. You know what I mean? But, he was just saying he didn't know how it was going to transition to heavyweight because he was going to eventually go to heavyweight, because, Usyk fought in the Olympics at heavyweight and won a gold medal, but that was the same year that I believe that Anthony Joshua won his gold medal. So, he won at super heavyweight, though. So that's a telltale sign right there, too, though. They both had gold medals in the same Olympics. That's a story within itself, And, Eddie Hearn was definitely crying in real life with the knockout. He was actually the first one to witness the knockout.
Yeah.
The knockout happened right in front of Eddie Hearn.
He was really upset. Yeah, he was really upset.
And like I said, he got caught up in it. A promoter, sometimes you get caught up in certain fighters, and, certain fighters, they really gravitate, certain promoters gravitate to fighters. Like Mike Tyson's promoter that he used to have before Don King really genuinely loved Mike Tyson. Like he loved him as a kid. And I think that, Eddie Hearn really genuinely loved Tony Bellew. You know what I mean? And they had like a brotherhood type deal going on. You know what I mean? And it's kind of sad it all came to an end with Usyk. But I just told you that this was going to happen. I told you guys this was going to happen. I told you you're going to stop him on this show. I said that, and you guys were like, "Oh no, it's going to be a 12-round decision. It's going to be a 12-round decision." Tony Bellew, I just knew that with all the work rate that Usyk does. You know, I just didn't see Bellew, acclimating that within his game. I mean, because how can you acclimate something in your game plan when you've never faced a boxer nowhere remotely close to Usyk? So how could you even put that into your game plan? Adonis Johnson doesn't throw anywhere near the punches that Usyk throws from different angles. Footwork way on different hemispheres. I mean, come on, man.
Different hemispheres.
Levels to this shit. And you guys got to understand that, man. Usyk is the #1 fighter in the entire world. And you guys are finally seeing this, man. And I truly, truly think that he can beat every single heavyweight in the division right now, man. You guys are saying, like, Wilder's some monster. He's got a right hand. Wow.
Do you think Fury beats Wilder?
Anthony Joshua went life or death with Takam.
He didn't go life and death with Takam. Come on, he didn't go life and death with Takam.
But they stopped everybody in my chat when I went live yesterday for the fight. Everybody kept saying that Anthony Joshua will be a good matchup because look at the Takam fight. And I mean they brought it to my attention. Because I didn't study Anthony Joshua that serious. Where I was like, I mean he beat him, but a lot of fans in my chat were saying that it was a bullshit stoppage. Some of the fans in my chat when I went live yesterday, they were saying that it was a BS stoppage. That Takam could have kept going, and that Anthony Joshua was getting tired of that fight.
He was losing every round.
So if he was getting,
it wasn't that competitive.
That's what I'm saying. Who was losing every round?
Takam wasn't winning the fight. He wasn't even close. He wasn't even in that fight.
I'm just telling you, if you go back to my chat and you read
he's drinking the Jason Kool-Aid, Eric.
Whoa, Robbie. Please. Corey Lee's boxing, baby.
Greasy, man. This dude Robbie's a grease ball. You're a grease ball. Yo, Robbie, you're one of the biggest haters I got, I think, sometimes when I come on the show. But I mean, it's all good. You're not with me all the time.
Corey, we gotta pick on somebody, right?
Yeah, I know, man. But just remember to take your meds tomorrow, okay? With that being said,
banger.
But look, with that being said, man, it's all love, man. But I know Robbie's gonna get me all the time every time.
That's right.
But like I said,
hey, Robbie's a hater.
Pick on you. I can't pick on Jason.
It's all good. I just take it. I just take what he brings. So.
Robbie's a hater.
What I was gonna say though, man, with the whole Usyk situation, man. How do you guys? I want to hear what you guys got to say. How do you guys truly think? Beeb, I want to ask you. I'm still on the show. How do you feel that Usyk would do against Anthony Joshua, man? Anthony Joshua. I mean, what do you think, Beeb?
I talked about it earlier, right?
Beeb Industries have stake in the UK market, the zone.
I talked about it earlier, and you have. The thing is this: Bellew was landing some right hands, so Usyk is not impenetrable defensively. He moves well, but he's going to have to plant his feet at some point in the fight and reset. He can't move the entire fight. He can't fight the entire fight on his toes. If you noticed, he was moving forward. He had Bellew up against the ropes, and Bellew was able to land that lead right hand. Okay, so what if Joshua lands that lead right hand against Usyk? What's going to happen? And then if Usyk puts on weight, will he be as quick? How much will Usyk weigh in at if he fights at heavyweight?
I think Usyk will weigh in because he walks around at 230 right now.
Think he'll weigh 220?
I think about 215, 220. I think that's
about 220.
start out.
So
That's why a lot of fans were telling me that he should not fight Joshua right off the rip.
no, he shouldn't.
No, Josh was what is he, 260?
Josh 250.
Dillian White loses to Chisora.
Yeah, he's about 260.
What if Dillian White loses to Chisora? What do we do then?
I mean, the fight will happen. The fight will eventually happen if Joshua stays undefeated. The Usyk fight will eventually happen if Joshua stays undefeated and he starts running out of guys, because he probably won't fight Wilder anytime soon. The question is will Usyk lose a little bit of speed with the added weight, number one, and number two, can he take the punches at that weight? Because I'm going to be honest with you, Corey, I had him losing the fight up until the point of the stoppage. He was down 4 rounds to 3 on my card. I had Bellew winning 4 of the 7 rounds.
I had it 4-3 Usyk.
Okay, so the fight was real close. And Bellew was landing some clean shots. And Bellew's not the fastest guy in the world either. He's quick, but he's not the fastest guy in the world.
But Bellew's very, very tricky, man.
He's crafty.
And Adonis
He's crafty.
had trouble with him. David Haye, we know, definitely had trouble with him. I mean, he's no walk in the park.
No. So how do you see a Usyk Joshua fight going?
I see a Usyk Joshua fight, going. I'm not gonna be no fanboy. I'm like, I'm all about Usyk and all that, because I was literally scoring rounds for Bellew last night. Like, it was kind of shocking, because I'm like, damn, Usyk, like, step on the gas, dude. What the fuck? Like, he was just like, let some rounds go, and he would get outworked on some rounds. But Usyk's a late starter. It's a 12-round fight with Usyk. I just knew that. I knew that, and I had that in the back of my mind. So when he started winning rounds, I was just like, okay, he's picking it up. And to be honest with you, I think after the first 2 rounds, I had it something like maybe I scored it like 4-2 or something after like the first 2 rounds or something like that, 4-1 or something. Yeah, like 4, because I gave Bellew the first 2 rounds, and then after that he won another round, and then I think it was like maybe the 4th round maybe. And then after that, it was a landslide for Usyk. It was one of those type of situations.
Did you jump out of your seat when Usyk knocked him out? Did you jump out of your seat?
Huh?
Did you jump out of your seat when Usyk knocked him out?
Oh, you gotta see my reaction, yo, my live, yo. Oh, that shit was live, yo. Oh my
Did you
God.
scream? Did you scream? Did you go like this? Did you go banger? Did you do that?
Yo, I was just so happy, man. I was just like, all the doubters, all the people that was like, Bellew was gonna win and all of that. I was like, yeah.
Did anybody say Bellew was going to win? I mean, I didn't hear too many picks for Bellew, honestly.
I didn't hear anyone pick Bellew.
I didn't hear anybody pick Bellew either.
I mean, I think we're talking to one.
Who, me? I didn't take Bellew.
Yeah, you, buddy.
I didn't take Bellew.
Don't act like you ain't pick Bellew, though. Come on, man.
I like Bellew. Yeah, I didn't pick him.
Oh, now he didn't pick Bellew.
Did I? Guys, you guys are my witnesses. Did I pick him?
All right, now you done switched up on me, Eric. All right. But look, let me see how he does. Beeb, he switches up on me when it's game time, baby.
This guy, he bets the chalk all the time. You got to understand this guy. He always bets the chalk.
I always win.
All right.
I always win, baby.
But look, this is what I was gonna say about the Usyk Joshua fight, in my personal opinion.
All right, go ahead.
I truly think that that's going to be a really good fight. I do want to see, at first I was like, man, I want Usyk just to go in the fire, man. The hell with it. April, he'll be ready. Let's just go in the fire right now, man. But the more I think about it, man, it's just like, I think he should take one fight in between, man. Because fans were telling me in the chat, like, he should definitely take one fight, Corey, because we went for like 2 hours after the fight was over, and we were just talking about different scenarios. And I was just like, man, one fight in between did not sound bad. You know what I'm saying? If he fights, because Joshua fights twice a year now, right? So I'm thinking like maybe Usyk could fight on the undercard of a Joshua fight, maybe. of a pay-per-view Joshua fight, or however that works out.
There's no way
And then
Usyk
fight
fights
Joshua
Joshua
you know?
next. None.
No, he won't
Too
fight
small.
on the undercard.
He's got to work his way
No,
into the
4
heavyweights. No way.
Well, he won't have all 4 belts when he goes to heavyweight at the beginning.
Right.
Robbie, that's what we're talking about. Those 4 belts are for Robbie. Those 4 belts are finito. They're finished. He's in heavyweight now. So you don't even need to talk about those 4 belts anymore because they're null and void at heavyweight.
All right, Corey, we got to get running, man. Our show's on overtime.
See you
right
later.
now.
All
right, man.
All right, Robbie. I hope you learned something, man.
Finger.
All right. Good call, Corey, man. That's nuts.
From this day, you'll be my new fool.
Georgie. Hi ho, Georgie.
Hey, what's happening, people?
What's the word?
Oh, buddy. Bad look for Mayweather or what, Georgie?
Everybody. Yeah, what do you think? Is it a bad look for Mayweather?
Bad look for Mayweather?
Listen, bro, Mayweather, he got what he needed. More attention. Doesn't matter why he was right, lying, or not lying. Everybody's talking about him.
Well, he's got to worry about his fighters, man. He needs to quit this garbage.
Then Robbie going at the man's fucking neck right away.
That's right.
Listen, Robbie, but you can be sweating that fever from these people. This is grown man we're talking about.
I know.
If they know that Mayweather ain't doing nothing for them, if that's really what's happening, because, I mean, I'm not behind doors, so I don't know what's going on, but that's on them. You cannot blame Mayweather, you know, like he's the evil fucking whatever, you know. I mean, Mayweather did what he did, and he's doing what he's doing.
Yep,
so criticizing him doesn't affect him whatsoever. As a matter of fact, it benefits him because he's on the fucking public talk, you know. He's the talk of the town now. Yep. Anyway, he can go to Japan and bum how long he wants. I don't care about none of that shit.
I don't care about it.
Mr. Usyk now, he be getting some hype. They talking about dude like Corey said, going challenging heavyweights, man. I think he should wait. Let the Joshua and Wilder look at the way he resolve this situation and just chill on that division. Defend your belts here and there, and when the right, like somebody like Parker, if Parker happens to grab one of the belts somehow, yeah, challenge somebody's not that big or Adinian White, but the Joshua's and Wilder, they're just too big for him.
Yep,
that risk is going to kill him.
He should stay at cruiserweight and keep those titles.
Yeah, that's a smart move. You don't want to be no superhero and some shit for what? People going to fucking shit on you anyway. You try to be great. Sadly, as it
Got
is.
a point.
Not if you're a banger.
Talking about shitting on somebody. Was that conversation talking? Listen from Corey that he challenged you to pie bet and you didn't pay, Eric. I want the commission in here.
Well, Georgie, keep one thing.
We have to strip him of the title, baby. Me and you gonna have to fight for the interim belt because we have to strip this kid.
First of all, you guys will be fighting for second place, and that's about all you'll be fighting for. First of all, listen, Corey never challenged me in that no pie bets. Corey is actually null and void from bets now because he doesn't pay him up there.
Eric picked Bellew.
Corey cannot bet. He's banned. He's banned from betting on here.
Yeah, but how long is the suspension for, Eric? He's got to be on like at least a 6-month suspension. That's up, isn't it?
No. He's on a
suspending the kid indefinitely.
Indefinite.
Come on, even John Jones was allowed to come back to the UFC.
Well, John Jones is a different story. I mean,
jeez, that's Corey Lee's boxing. Can't suspend him.
He's the John Jones.
You can't suspend Corey Lee boxing like that.
Coming here like a fucking hysterical woman, be trying to make some sense out of the whole thing, make no sense at all. That shit is hilarious, bro.
Yeah, he's always hilarious.
I love Jason Coles. I used to hate him, but not to a point. It's like when you live with cancer, you fucking gotta live with it. You know, you're gonna die or lose a fucking limb or something, but
well, we gotta get the chemo in here to eradicate it, okay?
Wow, that was rough,
Don't worry
man.
about it.
they don't sell 10,000 tickets, you're gonna see him. Just wait a couple weeks. That's gonna be hilarious.
If they don't sell out this fight, oh my God, they'll never hear the end of it.
Yep.
Yo, Beeb.
Yes, Daddy.
Switching for Fury too, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Fury.
Listen, I'm smelling a robbery, bro.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Doesn't knock this dude out. He's getting robbed, bro.
No, don't tell me that.
Yeah, no, I think that I think you're right. I think you're right.
They had Ortiz down. They had Ortiz down in that fight. How could they have had Ortiz down in that fight? That was horrible.
They make that shit boring as fuck. A lot of holding, a lot of movement, a lot of bullshit punches that don't go nowhere unless Wilder sounds that big shit that he lands all the time. Believe me, they do getting robbed. Cause really think about it, man. If you're not gonna be on that pay-per-view, what the numbers will be?
Well,
if we start finding out who buying the fight, who you think really buying the fight?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Won't be me.
The UK. It ain't nobody here buying that shit.
No.
I'm buying it.
I'm buying it.
No.
You know
I'm
what?
buying
I
it.
haven't seen any hype for it though.
Listen.
They're both
No
doing a lot of
advertisement.
press tours.
No ads yet, Eric. No ads. Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Bullshit, people. Let's cut the bullshit. Let's cut it. Cut. Time out of the hamster wheel. They have pushed this
I
man
love when he says that.
left and right through our fucking eyes, dude. And dude is not cutting it. They gotta cut their losses sometime. And guess what? This fight right here is the perfect opportunity. You see like fucking Fury rocking that WBC hat?
Yeah, man.
Sign, B. It's a little sign there. I don't have a lot to say. Just calling into shit on Jason and Al Heyman.
There you go. Good job.
And got you guys next week. Great show. Everybody out there support. Give these people the time up. That's all they ask for.
That's right.
Have a happy Veterans Day, Georgie.
Title town, Eric. Don't forget about it. More respect. Boston.
There's only one Boston Red Sox.
Title town's over this way, son.
Champions. When's the last time Georgia won anything?
Weren't they up? Do you remember that when they were up in the they were up in a bowl game?
In 1995, Beeb. That's the last title they
What do they have going on over there?
Was it them in the bowl game last year? It was like, or no, it was Atlanta. Wasn't it Atlanta?
They got clobbered by Alabama, remember?
But weren't they up at some point or something like that? And then they blew it?
Yeah, they were up against Oklahoma.
What championships ever came out of Georgia?
And then what was the other one where Atlanta was up on the Patriots, weren't they? I mean, just blowing them out by like
28-3, and they lost.
Nice. When is the last time the Atlanta Hawks won anything?
Wow. All right. Kell Brook versus Michael Zafara. Let's see. Zarafa. Michael Zarafa and Kell Brook set for December 8th. Yeah. Okay. Can they find anybody for Kell Brook to fight? I mean, seriously.
Well, Amir Khan won't fight him. What the hell's going on with that one?
Yeah, but I mean, at least, why sit there and wait for Khan? Don't you got other guys you could fight?
Yeah, that's true.
As we mentioned before, Robert Guerrero returns on a Wilder undercard on the Who Cares?
Maybe he can fight Khan.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. versus Alfredo Angulo set for December 1st. I believe that's also on the Wilder undercard. Chavez Jr. incidentally is on TMZ. There's an article on TMZ now saying that he wants to fight Canelo again at 168. He said he would knock him out at 168.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. So, yeah.
What's going on?
So that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Robert on Twitter at Ringside Robert or call Ringside Robbie's Corner at 917-259-1810. Leave him a message. You can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1 and find his YouTube channel at beatingtheoddswithbeeb.com. I'm at Ringside 73, and we will see you next week.
Banger!